friends! Welcome back to my channel. I'm Xoxo, this is Xoxo Tarot, and in today's actual pick a card reading, we are going to be looking at who has their eye on you and why. Now, this isn't necessarily a love reading. It could be. Someone could be interested in you, but I'm more so in like a bouncer energy, a protective bouncer energy, where I'm like, who are you with and what do you want with my people? You know what I mean? Like I'm intrigued to see what's going to come through today. But I am definitely in a ruthlessly discerning energy. So if there are any vibes that I do not like, I cannot promise that I will not be at least a little bit C-wordy, because I am a little overprotective of y'all. But I digress. Let's talk about what we're going to look at today. So we're going to start by looking at who this is. And I will just point out that for some of you, you might not know who this person is. This could be someone that watches you from afar, someone that you have not met formally yet. But, you know, if you're not interested in that, feel free to pick a different group. This is also a scenario where it makes sense to pick more than one, especially if lots of people have their eye on you, which they probably do, because I bet you are a bit of a looker. Anyway, I said looker, not the other thing. Anyway, after we look at who this is, we're gonna look at what's their deal. Why do they have their eye on you? What's going on? You know, is this a little bit of a, oh, you may want to clear your energy, or is it like a, ooh, they're interested in you? I'm gonna be looking at that. And then we're gonna go into tarot, and that's gonna be the rest of the reading, where we're gonna look at, are they planning on taking any action towards you? If so, what is it? We're also gonna look at, what do you need to know about this situation? Especially like what your guides want you to know, like what the universe wants you to know about this, just so that you have the best information possible. And then we're also gonna look at, why did this reading come to you? Like, what is the significance of you knowing about this? Because realistically, like, it's not like we necessarily need to know these things. So why did you need to know this? Why did this reading come to you? And then there will be guidance for dealing with this situation. And if I'm unsatisfied with the amount of information we've gotten, I may ask other questions, but that will be up to me and a case-by-case basis. So with that being said, we have 4 different cards for you to choose from, 4 different people and scenarios for you to choose from. So starting with group number 1, we have this card that is the Follow Me Fairy. And then for group number 2, we have this card, which is the Fawn of Mars. It is giving a bit of Aries energy. It also reminds me of, oh, why do I always forget names right as I'm filming? Mr. Tumnus from Narnia, but like Miss Tumnus, I guess. I don't know. And then for group number 3, we have this queen, honestly, this lady of warning with this very fabulous, I don't need to speak to the manager hair because I have way more power than you ever will vibe going on. Really love it. Very here for it. And then finally for group number 4, we have this Seer card. So go ahead and pause the video if you need to decide which pile you feel most drawn to. It is absolutely okay to be drawn to more than one, like I said. This will definitely be a case-by-case basis, so just definitely trust that whatever is meant to be called to you is meant for you. Pretty excited to get into this reading because I'm already curious to know like why Spirit was really calling me to do this one. So I think it'll be interesting. But with that being said, it is intro squad time, and y'all, I have finally re-upped my candles, which you can get using code Xoxo10 for 10% off. But we are doing the mini candles today. Oh, isn't she so small and cute? Like, you know she's small and cute because if she could talk to me like, oh my god, I'm not small and cute, don't say that, I'm totally not. And it's like, girl, yes you are small and cute. And I mean, I guess for comparison, I'm burning my Empress candle right now. I don't know if you can tell, but still a decent sized candle, but maybe she's small. And we're using the High Priestess candle today because I just want to connect to my intuition and really get you guys the answers that you need. And the cool thing is that even if you get the mini candle, you still get a mini tarot card inside. So that will be our mini reading. But intro squad, my question for you today is, what is your favorite tarot card and why? I will go first. My favorite tarot card is the Six of Cups because that is the first card I ever drew, and it was a really magical experience for me because at the time I didn't believe in anything. I was highly skeptical of tarot, and like literally did not have an ounce of spiritual energy in my body. It had all been drained by the horrors of reality. And there was just this kind of magical moment of like, it was almost like I was sensory wise, it just felt like a little spark inside my sacral area. But on a deeper level, it felt like a homecoming almost, or like I found something significant to me and significant to my life that I hadn't been aware of until that moment. And it really fits the Six of Cups because the Six of Cups is all about like nostalgia, coming home to the past, but it's also a really sweet and heartfelt card. And it's just one of my favorite cards in the deck. So let me know what's your favorite tarot card and why. But let's go ahead and see what this mini reading is for y'all and what the message is, and make our wish. Whew, okay. So we have the Four of Cups here, and we'll get into that in a second, but I just want to admire how beautiful she is. We've got amethyst and moonstone in this bad boy, and lots of glitter because glitter is a requirement. I need glitter or I will implode. But if you just like to focus on the candle and just focus on your wish, I'm feeling called specifically to encourage some of you to wish for a particular sign about something, maybe if you are needing that, but I'm going to go ahead and make my wish now, and you can do that with me. If you want to pause the video to really bake your wish mentally into the candle, go right ahead. May yours, mine, and all of our wishes come true. Thank you for making a wish with me. Okay, so let's look at your card. This Two of Pentacles fell out. So if any of you have the Two of Pentacles that's been like following you, there might be something about like needing to take a step back. Like if you're balancing a lot right now, to maybe take a step back and give yourself a break if you need it. But that has nothing to do with what we're talking about with this Four of Cups. The first thing I heard with this Four of Cups is that you have what you need and the answers are closer than you think. I feel like for a lot of you, there may be a solution to an issue you haven't seen yet because you are so focused on the solutions that you're used to or the solutions that have worked in the past that you know won't work now. I feel like for a lot of you, you could be in this situation where you're trying to work something out or trying to understand something with a framework that you're familiar with, and that framework is not helpful for what the universe is trying to show you or what this answers this situation is trying to bring you. I definitely feel like you're being encouraged to do things differently, and I heard specifically to move differently. And whether that means taking a different route on your hot girl, hot guy, hot person walks, or whether that is, you know, even just like getting up on the opposite side of the bed, or doing your routine a bit differently, or brushing your teeth with the opposite hand, like just getting into the mode of doing things differently in ways that don't have to be dramatic or extreme. Because I almost feel like, especially for those of you that are dealing with creative blockages or dealing with like just a feeling of like meh, that's not a worrying extreme apathy, but just a lack of like interest in life, even though you may be grateful or happy about where you're at, or just feeling like there's something you're not seeing or something you're missing, but you can't quite put your finger on why or figure out what it is. I feel like the answers are going to come to you in these moments of doing things differently. It's almost like by moving differently, you're allowing your brain to think differently or not be so rigid in its thinking or in its ideas of how things are supposed to go. And then that's going to allow new ideas or almost like eureka light bulb moments to come to you where you're like, oh, okay. I also feel like for some of you, there may be opportunities you're ignoring or neglecting because they're different or overwhelming. And you know what? I fall into this camp too. So you know what? I promise to do those things if you promise to do those things. I'm actually really excited though. Some of those things hopefully you guys will be seeing soon. But anyway, I definitely think that there is more to your situation than meets the eye. And I think that what's really going to help you see that is taking a step back from, number one, an extreme focus on it. So if you've been like heavily focused on an issue or just like seeking answers at all costs and it's just leaving you more confused, I'm definitely feeling like you're being encouraged to take a step back and not be so focused on it. That's when the answers might come to you. Kind of reminds me of how like when we forget, like when we're about to say something and then we forget what it is, the more we try to recall what we were going to say, the harder it is to remember it. And then once we let go of it, it usually comes back to us a few minutes later and then we remember. It's like kind of like that. I also heard that you might want to listen to your dreams, like, or pay attention to your dreams. There might be solutions there or answers there that I'm hearing, when you look at them logically, may not make sense, but they'll make sense in your dream. And there's supposed to be like this, I guess, this bridging of wisdom here where it's like, okay, how does this make sense for me though in an earthly context, in a more linear context? Like, you might need to do a little bit of, like you might need to figure things out a little bit as like, how does this apply more symbolically or metaphorically? But ultimately, there are answers around you and there are answers coming to you, solutions and opportunities coming to you, and ways to make life more exciting now that you may be missing because, number one, you may feel like it's your fault that things are this way, or that like you may be beating yourself up or being hard on yourself unnecessarily. And I think the universe is really just encouraging you to let go of the reins a little bit and just be more open and be more curious. And instead of looking for outcomes, look for new processes and new ways of moving. And that's going to help open up new pathways of thinking and seeing and understanding. And that will hopefully allow more to come to you. Also, if you've been buried in your phone, try to use it less. If you typically listen to music while you walk, try not doing that. I know that is a lot to ask. I don't know if I even want to do that, but you might find that there are signs or messages or things that you miss because you're like, changing the song on your phone or like, just kind of distracted. So if you find yourself being using distraction as a tool for avoidance, be present with what you're avoiding. And instead of trying to fix it, just be present with it. And just see what happens. I don't know. I think interesting things could be coming to you if you are willing to be open to them and be a little bit patient with how you receive them. So that is my mini message. I hope it resonates. And like I said, definitely let me know what your favorite tarot card is. Thank you for being here, Intro Squad. I'm going to go ahead and get into your readings now. So thank you guys so much for being here. I love you so much, and I will see you in your reading. Hi there, Pile 1. Welcome to your reading, and thank you so much for being here. If you guys chose the Follow Me Fairy, this is going to be your reading on who has their eye on you and why. So the first card you chose is partially who represents who has their eye on you, but these two cards are going to elaborate further. So we also have the Two of Wands, and we have the Snail. And I'm also going to lay out the cards that represent what their deal is. So why do they have their eye on you? So for that, we have a fearful world. We have self-doubt. And we have the 10 of Cups. Okay, cool. I've got a lot of different interpretations here. Let me just make sure. Yeah, everything's in the frame. It'd be like actually really sad if this wasn't in the frame because there's only 6 cards. I really like this energy, actually. And I don't know if you know this person or not. I think it is going to heavily depend on your circumstances. But this is definitely someone who's either inspired by you or a kindred spirit of sorts. The fact that we have the Follow Me Fairy here, this tells me that this is the type of person who goes beyond the mundane. This is someone who's really unique, really appreciates unique experiences, and is someone that tries to follow their bliss. I feel like they are someone who, I just heard ADHD, so like they could be neurodivergent in some way. Maybe that's something you guys bond over. I am getting like 2 different situations here where for some of you, you know this person or you know of this person, and for others, this person knows of you. You may not know them, or this person knows you from afar and is inspired by you. in terms of what their deal is, I get really good vibes from this person no matter what. One of the things that I'm getting specifically is for some of you, you could be mutuals with this person, especially with follow me being here. You guys could follow each other and be really inspired by the other, or think like, ooh, I feel like me and this person would really vibe. No matter what, this is somebody who admires you and is inspired by you. I feel like they see you and them as kindred spirits, or have a feeling that you guys would get along really well. And I would say like this could be a romantic interest, but for a lot of you, I could see this being someone who's interested in like a friendship, someone who, you know, sees you as like an ideal creative partner or collaborative partner. Definitely somebody who feels like you guys would work really well together and feels inspired and passionate about you. Although one thing I do see about this person is that they seem to be very slow moving, or it takes them a while to bite the bullet, or to go for what they really want, or to put themselves out there in a certain way. I definitely feel like they are somebody who sees the light in everyone, maybe except themselves. They could have fire sign placements here, or be born in February, or be born on the 2nd. The number 2 could be significant in some certain way. I definitely feel like there's somebody that sees you as like an ideal partner in some sort of way. It's like an ideal friend, an ideal collaborative partner, an ideal romantic interest. But I can definitely see here as well that they are quite slow moving. I definitely can see why, and we'll get into that. But I would say that this is somebody who is a bit colorful, either in their personality. They might be quite colorful with their language. If so, I respect and admire that as someone whose favorite word is fuck. I definitely feel like they could be very, they might have a lot of tattoos, or they might dress very colorfully, or maybe they wear a lot of neutrals and dark colors, or like they wear a lot of black or something, but then, you know, their accessories or their home or their space is very colorful. This is definitely someone who has a light that they want to shine, but has a hard time following through on that on their own. I feel like they definitely rely upon a little bit the inspiration of others or the support of others. And I wonder if you know this person, if both of you have kind of been like skirting around, maybe talking to each other more out of fear of like, oh, I don't want the other to think I'm stupid, or like, oh, I don't want the other to reject me, or I don't know if they feel the same way. And if you've had a feeling that this person has been interested in you in some way, whether to get to know you better or romantically or something like that, I definitely see here that their hesitation in interacting with you has nothing to do with like a lack of interest or like playing around. It definitely has to do with self-doubt and fear. If you guys are able to make 69 jokes or things like that, it's definitely this type of person. They have that sort of humor. Billy Madison, that makes me think of the movie Billy Madison, which so like if they like, you know, silly things like that, comedies from the 90s, Adam Sandler movies, this might be them. I keep hearing the phrase, and I don't say this, and I don't even necessarily know what it means. So take this with a grain of salt, but like the phrase, like they would say you match their steez. I don't know what that means. I imagine it means that you match each other's energy. And that's just a hip, cool, young way of saying it that I'm not privy to. But I definitely see here as well that like they could have Aries or Sagittarius placements, because we have those two there. But I would definitely say like you will know that this is this person, because when you are together, you both have more energy. Like you feed into each other's humor, you fire one another up, and like it's really, really, really fun. Like you this is definitely like a you know, it reminds me of that scene in Step Brothers when Brennan and Dale realize they have like the same interests, and they're like, did we just become best friends? And they're like running around like laughing, and it's so cute. Like that kind of vibe. Like you guys have similar interests. You may masturbate to the same non-pornographic magazines together. that is a Step Brothers reference. Although it could be real. I mean, maybe you both do love Good Housekeeping. this is definitely, you both are individuals. You both are quite unique. And I think one thing that you guys would bond over is not only being misunderstood, but also feeling kind of lonely in life because you guys have very unique personalities that not everyone understands. You know, maybe you guys have experienced bullying. Maybe you've experienced just a lack of people honoring you or honoring your authenticity. And I can definitely see here that despite this person's passion, they can be really slow to opening up or to taking risks because of the pain that they've experienced. Now, what their deal is that they see a lot of potential with you. The fact that we have the 10 of Cups here tells me that they see some sort of harmonious connection with you, whether romantic, platonic, creative. They really feel like you guys work well together, and rainbows seem to be a big part of this group. Whether in signs, whether in like, rainbows seem to be symbolic in some sort of way. So if you're looking for confirmation in some sort of way, rainbows, elephants, snails, the number 69, all of that could be significant. And you guys could be different in certain ways, but the biggest thing is that you fire one another up in positive ways and you feel like energized around each other. I can definitely see the reason why they have their eye on you but haven't really done anything yet is because they are afraid. The fact that we have a fearful world here, they could be afraid of being rejected. They could be afraid that their read of you is wrong, or that if they do open themselves up further, you know, what if you don't like what you see, or what if they get rejected by you, or what if they're wrong and everything implodes. I can definitely see that this is the type of person that isolates themselves a little bit because I feel like they have trusted the wrong people in the past. They've opened themselves up. And actually, one thing I'm hearing is I bet that this is somebody who's either still healing from narcissistic abuse or has experienced that sort of thing in the past. And so they have had experiences where, you know, someone has literally matched their energy and then come to find out that wasn't real, that wasn't true. Not that they think you are one, it's just that they don't trust their judgment. And I also feel like they're very afraid of being rejected by you, because I see that they see themselves in you, but they don't know if you'll agree. Like, maybe you'll think they're super lame, or maybe you won't find them funny, maybe you won't get their humor, and you know, maybe it just won't be the same thing. And I think a lot of that is not real. A lot of that is their fear, and a lot of that is their uncertainty. But for some of you, this may be someone not only you don't know, but somebody that doesn't know you yet. And the reason why they have their eye on you is because even though they don't know you yet or know who you are, they feel you and know that you're out there. And in fact, I'd be willing to bet that you're both manifesting each other into your lives, whether you're manifesting a creative partner, a romantic partner, or a friendship of some kind. Both of you have this fear that this sort of friendship, this sort of relationship, this sort of partnership doesn't exist and it isn't real, and that it will implode. And I would be willing to bet that both of you are holding back, and both of you are taking time stepping into finding one another, because there is a bit of risk taking involved in finding one another or discovering one another. Both of you want to have this harmonious partnership you've envisioned, and it's like your spirits know that the other exists, but consciously, because you haven't physically met one another, there's I don't know who exactly this person is or what the deal is, and it's easy to be doubtful and be like, well, maybe that type of person doesn't exist, maybe this relationship doesn't exist, maybe this isn't that pure. And I can definitely see that this is somebody who, whether they've met you or not, they really want to get closer to you, and I definitely feel like they're taking their sweet time out of fear. But it's not because they're not interested. And also, this could be someone who is at a distance from you. So, you know, maybe this is somebody that you met briefly at like a conference, or when you were traveling, and as a result, like, you know, with the divide, with the physical distance, you know, maybe they are taking their time interacting because they're like, oh, well, you know, I may not be able to travel, or what if this becomes more serious? Like, this is definitely someone who worries about crossing a bridge that hasn't even been built yet. And I can definitely see how that holds them back. And you might actually even relate to that. So that's the vibe that I'm getting for this person. And I definitely feel like if you are really vibing with this, that even if you don't know who this person is yet, you will, because I do feel this strong energy of encouragement from like both of your spiritual teams. where I feel like this friendship, creative partnership, romantic relationship, whatever it is meant to be, it is something that both of your souls have been craving and yearning for. And it's something that, like, the reward of crossing the threshold of fear is this sort of connection, is this sort of partnership. So while I'm shuffling, if you would like to, thank you to everyone who takes the time to leave me a like, to subscribe, to leave me a little comment down below. If you're not part of Intro Squad and you want to be part of it, I did ask everyone what their favorite tarot card was and why, so if you'd like to share that, feel free. And thank you to everyone who just leaves me a like and who watches the ads. Like, those are simple, easy ways to help me, and they are, you know, just very helpful. So thank you to everyone who takes the time to do that. I really, really appreciate it. But we're gonna start by looking at, are they planning on taking any action anytime soon? I might deviate a little bit from the questions that I have, but we'll see. So, Spirit, is this person that has their eye on group number 1, are they planning on taking action anytime soon? What action do they plan to take, if any? Oh my gosh, look at the 10 of Cups again. So yeah, they do. But can we get a little bit specific about what type of action that is? So I can't tell you what this action is specifically. My best guess is that they will interact with you likely online, because we do have this star here, and the star is connected to Aquarius technology. I would say it's likely that they are going to reach out to you in a way that is less overwhelming than in person. So I wouldn't be shocked if they follow you, or you follow them, or you guys meet one another. Although there could be some sort of meet cute arranged by your angels, because we do have this angelic energy here. I do feel like even if they don't have specific action planned, the action that they do need to take is going to be guided to them. And if you're the one that's meant to take action, it's going to find you. I definitely think it's going to happen in a way that's almost like maybe partially unexpected, but if they're the ones to take action, it's going to happen in a way where the potential that they see in the connection between the two of you is stronger than the fears of what would happen if it failed. I definitely think as well, they could reach out to you in a way where you're shining and they are complimenting you. So for example, maybe you post selfies and they message you or comment, you know, like something very complimentary, and then that leads to a conversation. I definitely see, for the vast majority of you, I think the first action that they're going to take is going to be online. And it could have to do with a mutual interest, like a show or a shared thing that makes you both very happy. That could be a catalyst to having more personalized conversation. But I'm also hearing that you don't need to think too hard about this or strategize or figure it out, because either you're going to be called to take action at the right time, or they're going to be called to take action at the right time, and it's going to happen when in the perfect time, in the perfect way. And I know that's frustrating for you guys, but here's the thing, like, okay, interesting. You can only eat so much food in a day, right? And sometimes when you go to, like, say, a really fancy restaurant and there's a bunch of courses, they plan things out in the perfect way so that things hit just right. And just the example that I'm getting is that this is meant to happen in a way that helps instill confidence in the both of you, that there's something almost divine about the two of you coming together. Like, they get the sign that it's like, okay, I'm gonna take this risk, I'm gonna reach out to them, I'm gonna do this thing. And it's something where they needed to almost be in that fear for long enough so that they can move through that threshold, move beyond this threshold of fear and realize, like, oh, wow, it feels really good to face that, and wow, I'm so glad I did, because, like, this is so exciting. I feel like a lot of what's holding this back is internal fear, is doubt. And I do feel like if you know who this is and you wanted to, you could open yourself up and start that. Although I will say they might be a little bit hesitant. They might be a little bit standoffish, and you might think like, Asa was wrong. She lied to me. No, I didn't. I'm telling you the damn truth. But they might be hesitant because they're afraid. And then they might be suspicious. You know how when you're still wounded and you're unsure of something, how, you know, it's hard for you to believe in the idea that, you know, someone might just have genuine intentions and might just be interested in you. Yeah, so they might be a little bit standoffish, and you might take that as, oh, they're not interested in me. And also, I don't lie. I would not waste my time doing that shit. So if you ever think I do, pull up. We'll have a real conversation. Because them's are fighting words. And I'm an Aries, so I got a bad case of Aries scary. So don't even bring that bullshit to my doorstep, because I will tell you the truth. Anyway, look at me creating a problem out of nothing. And that's the thing, is like you could really get worked up and think like, oh, maybe I misread this situation, maybe I was wrong, and it's really just they weren't ready to open up yet because they were letting fear get to them. So I do think like letting this situation run its course and kind of just letting it happen in the perfect time, in the perfect way is okay. But also like the number 10 and the number 17 could be significant. So like 10 to 17 days could be all it takes. But also I do feel like this could happen in like a completion of a cycle where like it's like both of you have stuff in life that is like ending and clearing away, and it allows for the both of you to be open and excited and willing to be vulnerable and see where things go. And I definitely think that their presence in your life is going to be very healing. And I want to sneeze, and I don't know if I am, but whenever I do have to sneeze, I always see it as a blessing. So know that this situation is blessed and that you can't mess it up, and that it's going to happen in the perfect time, in the perfect way. But if you are impatient, you can move the process along further, but you might find that your interactions are less satisfying because the other person might be a little bit standoffish because they are suspicious as to why you're interested in them because they don't think they're good enough. And you might be like, mood, I get it. So it might require some patience and some willingness to not get suspicious or get in your own insecurities around this situation, because that could just create unnecessary divisiveness and projection and fear and standoffishness that just doesn't need to be there. So trust that this is a protected situation where like if a situation could go awry, I feel like you will subconsciously feel blocked from reaching out, and so will they. And it will happen in the right way. So trust that. Okay, so let's ask, like, what do your guides want you to know about this situation? So what do you need to know about this person that has their eye on you, and the vibes between the two of you? So both of you are very intelligent. We know that, but both of you, like, mentally, like, your minds are your own worst enemies. And one thing that you do need to know about this situation is that you both are prone to overthinking, and that might create miscommunication. And so when this person does come into your life, or when you start to get closer to them, I feel like you're being encouraged to share your own like delusions, where you're like, I was gonna text you earlier, but I was worried you would think I was weird and that I was too eager, so I didn't, and I'm sorry, but like also, hi, I'm excited to talk to you, but I don't want you to think I'm too eager or like weird or lame. And then they'll be like, oh my god, no, like I haven't texted you because like I was afraid that you would think I was weird or too eager. Like you guys will probably talk really fast. Like you'll talk like this, you'll be like, oh my god, like you'll just be like two yappers having the best time. And you'll find that you guys actually overthink about the same things more often than you realize. And if you ever want an excuse to talk to them, but you are afraid of doing so, ask them about a hyperfixation. Ask them about a specialized interest. And not only will that help you get to know one another better, but like neither of you, no matter how how afraid of the other you are. Like, you can't resist talking about your interests. And I think both of you will find that you either have similar interests or you like hearing the other talk about those interests. So that will be a helpful way of getting closer to one another if you are afraid of just like opening things up. I do feel like you will be able to know emotionally that this person is safe because you just feel good around them and things feel easy, and like you don't have to prove yourself. Like, you don't have to mask, you don't have to pretend to be anything other than who you are. And in fact, the more you are yourself around the other person, the easier conversation flows, the more trust builds, and the more you realize, like, these are the types of relationships I deserve in my life. And you're basically being given a blueprint of green flags and like a blueprint of like the types of relationships in your life that you deserve. And I think it's also going to be really healing for the both of you, because you're going to realize, like, oh, there are genuine people in the world, and there are people who will just like and appreciate me for me, and I don't have to overcompensate in my relationships, and I don't have to pretend to be something that I'm not. So I really like this. This is really awesome. But let's go ahead and see, like, why did this reading come to you today? So Spirit, why did this reading come to pile one? What does pile one... Why did this reading reach pile one? What was the purpose of them knowing about this? Yeah, we have the Three of Swords in reverse. And I heard before I even pulled this, like, your manifestation is working. Like, I feel like you guys really needed to know and needed to hear that your hard work is worth it. And also that, like, you're not going to be stuck in a state of healing forever. And also that you are moving out of a time of needing lots of walls to protect yourself, of needing to be hyper vigilant about people's intentions and about their reasons for being around you. A lot of the heartache that you've experienced in life, like, this actually really makes me want to cry, and not in like a way of feeling sad, but in a way of like relief, where it's just like the type of love and connection that you've always known existed in your heart, you're going to be getting physical evidence of it. And I think what the universe is really saying is like, don't let things like the internet or other people's opinions stop you from believing in this. You know, the people that say, oh, don't be yourself, or hide who you are, or, you know, maybe tone yourself down. Fuck that. Turn your shit up. Be loud and proud about who you are, because that's going to be that perfect, like, almost bat signal, which truth be told, like, liking Batman, it doesn't mean you're neurodivergent, but like, you can add it to the checklist. That's one thing for me. Like, I got into Batman a couple years ago, and I was like, well, there's another check off on the I am a neurodivergent person checklist. Shout out to my fellow neurodivergents out there. Y'all are the best, and I love you. And shout out to the neurotypicals out there, which honestly, I don't even know if I believe in like neurotypicals. Like, I think that they're just people that conform and fit the standard mold more, but all brain types are valid, and I love you. Anyway, I definitely think that like your own brand of chaos is going to fit really well with theirs. And what you're going to find is that connection is a lot simpler when you don't have to be someone you're not. And it's a lot simpler when you don't have to hide who you are in order to make someone else comfortable and beg for scraps. And what you're gonna find with this person is that if you think you are somebody that gets drained by socializing, you might be, because that's being an introvert in a nutshell. But what you're going to find with this person is that you do not get drained around them. You can spend hours and hours, even days with them, and not get tired with them. And that is really the sign of like a true special friendship. And let's be real, like, I mean, I guess not every friendship has to be that way, like friendship, relationship, whatever it is, but I just don't see you guys getting tired of each other. And I think that one reason why this reading found you is because relationships are not meant to be something that reminds you why you're defective, because you're not defective. You may be quite unique, and that might mean that the type of people that you vibe with are quite unique as well. And so that might mean it takes some time to find those people, but that doesn't mean they're not out there, and it doesn't mean it's not for you. It just means that what's right for you may be a bit harder to find. And but that doesn't make it any less true, and I think it will make it all the more sacred. And I also feel like if you've always been the person in relationships where you gave more, where you remembered the small things like their birthday, or went out of your way to make them happy and to support them, and they couldn't even be bothered to give the bare minimum in return, you're gonna realize what it's like to get that back. Like, this is gonna be the type of person that listens to the minute specifics that nobody else remembers. This is going to be someone that knows that your favorite color is mauve, not purple. This is going to be someone that knows that you like your sauce on the side with your chicken nuggets. You don't like it on there, but you want it on the side in a specific way, on the northeast corner of your plate and nowhere else. Like, I know I'm using specifics, but like, they will remember those things about you. And it will be so healing for the both of you, because you will just be like, oh, there was nothing wrong with me. And it's like, yes, there was nothing wrong with you. You were just with people that couldn't appreciate how wonderful you were. And the reason why this reading found you is to remind you to not give up hope on this existing, especially if you haven't found it yet, or especially if you're afraid to open up to this person more. Because truth be told, even in like connections like this, conflict can happen. But when two people are genuine and care about one another, conflict can bring you closer together, and it can help you realize that conflict isn't dangerous when it's healthy and when it's both of you versus an obstacle. You know, I think what you will realize is a lot of the reason why you feared conflict was because people created unnecessary conflict or took things personally that had nothing to do with you. Kind of reminds me, like, you know, how like, you know, sometimes like people that are unaware of how neurodivergent people behave, like they can get offended by things that aren't personal, you know. And if someone is unwilling to learn and understand and work with you, you know, they can take offense to things, and you can be sitting there like, I didn't mean to do anything, and it forces you to be hyper vigilant, right, and fearful. And that you're not meant to be that way in your close relationships. You're meant to feel safe to be yourself. And even if you guys are different, wired differently, that's going to be part of what brings you closer, and you guys are going to be really conscientious of understanding how the other operates and not taking things personally, and definitely not assuming things and creating conflict out of nowhere. Like, if there's any conflict, it's probably because like one of you is mad that the other isn't, you know, sharing what you're going through, or one of you is mad that the other isn't seeing their worth more, or, you know, like rooting or like believing in yourself more. I really feel like you guys are going to root for one another in ways where it's just going to be really healing, because you're going to be like, wow, like I never needed to change in order to be worthy of connection, appreciation, and true camaraderie. And I think that's a beautiful thing, and you always deserve that. But I'm so glad that this is coming to you soon, or I think it's coming to you soon. Movies, I think movies or film or cinema in general is something that I feel like you guys will really bond over. And I may have gotten on a Batman tangent and not finished my point. So the point of what I was trying to say is, like, the more loud and proud that you are about yourself, and the more you share yourself authentically, that's kind of like your own bat signal to this person, where they're going to be able to find you if they haven't met you yet, or that you being yourself, if they're too afraid to approach you, that's what's going to help them build the confidence to do so. Beautiful. What a wonderful first reading. Okay, so we're just going to finish off by asking Spirit for some guidance for you when it comes to this situation. So Spirit, what guidance do you have for group number 1 when it comes to this situation? What do they need to know, please? What guidance do you have for group number 1 when it comes to this person and them coming into your life? We have the 2 of Pentacles. Okay, can you go a bit deeper with that? We have the 5 of Cups in reverse. Or no, it's not reverse, it's upright. Silly me. I think the guidance here is, number 1, to not assume that because it hasn't happened yet, or because it's taking time, that it's not happening at all. Because I definitely think that it could be easy to jump to certain conclusions. Like, say for example, I'm getting a reality TV example, and it's gonna take me a second, so bear with me. But when you really want something to happen, you can often try to force a person or a situation to fit into what you want, into that outcome, rather than seeing what's there and allowing something to build organically. And what I feel like the guidance is here is to not be searching for this person if you haven't met them yet, or if you're uncertain as to who they are. Instead, let this build naturally, and don't jump to conclusions about who you think this is, because for some of you, I almost get the vibe like there might be people you want to fit this that are not the right person, and that actually could cause more harm or make you feel like you were wrong, or that this isn't real, or just create unnecessary setbacks that make you feel imbalanced and that make you want to close yourself off again. So part of the guidance that I'm getting is to not try to fit others into the mold of who you think this person is or how you think this is meant to go, and instead just be open to what happens and pay attention to how you feel when you're around this person. If you get energized, if you get excited. But also, there might be people that you're holding on to or keeping around in your life that don't really fulfill you, that if anything, like their presence in your life maybe is more disappointing and kind of hurtful, but maybe you hold on to them or hold on to your connection with them out of fear that you won't get anything else in return, or that you'll be lonely. And I think Spirit is really saying, actually, you don't need to hold on to those people, and they may actually be taking up room and taking up space that this person is meant to take up. And I feel like as well, if you're disappointed and frustrated that this person hasn't come into your life yet, I feel like Spirit is saying that's totally valid. Focus on what is within your control and let go of the whens. And I know that's hard. I know it's not easy. But the thing is that things are changing. And I think there is a part of you that wants to project negative assumption onto your future or onto all potentially positive situations. And the universe is really encouraging you not to do that, because it just might make it harder for you to open up and be yourself more. And also, I do kind of wonder if you and this person are still kind of healing a little bit from past circumstances, or still working up the courage to cut out certain influences, beliefs about yourself, or people in your lives that are taking up a lot of space. I do feel like the more you feel like yourself, the more you're shining your light, the more you attract authentically what is meant for you, and the easier it will be to attract this person into your life, or know for certain that this is them. One definitely very positive sign that this person is who they are is you will be all of yourself, even the parts of yourself that maybe you're a little bit embarrassed by, and you will not be judged. They will not be standoffish. They will not shame you. They will not misunderstand you. They will not say like, oh, can you tone it down, or you're being a little much. But also know that a lot of the disappointment that you've experienced in past relationships literally has nothing to do with you and is not a personal failing. It really just has to do with the fact that not everyone vibes. And also, when you are a sensitive soul, which I can tell that you are, which is not a bad thing, you feel things more deeply and can take things more personally than other people do. And for other people, what might be a simple interaction could be really meaningful and important to you. And so that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it is important to recognize when maybe you're beating yourself up for things that are not your fault, or creating a belief system about yourself that you can never trust others in connection, or trust yourself to know whether someone is safe in connection or not. I think the best thing that you can do, especially when this person comes in, or when you start getting closer to them, is just take your time. Don't rush things, and be yourself, of course. I've been saying that a lot, but also don't be afraid to match their energy. So, you know, if they're a little bit, like holding back, feel free to do the same. What you'll find, like how you will know that this person is the person that I'm talking about, is they will match your energy. And so, like, for example, with this King of Swords, you know, if you both are like overthinking, I think it's really powerful for one of you to be like, can I just be honest? Like, I'm really overthinking this situation. Like, I don't want you to think I'm weird, or like I've been really hurt in the past by like certain people that said they were my friend and then they turned out not to be. Like, the response to that other person is going to be like, oh my God, same. I've literally had the same experiences and this has happened. And, you know, if you open yourself up and become vulnerable and someone is like, oh, okay, or if they don't respond or they're just kind of weird after that, you can take that as a sign that maybe that they're probably not this person, because what you're gonna find is that there is really no amount of weirdness that the other is not going to embrace. So if one of you, like if you're feeling judged or something like that by this person, it's definitely not them, because you guys are really just, I feel like one of the biggest things about this connection is that you guys are going to feel very liberated by the other, where it's just like you're free to be yourselves and you realize like there was never really anything wrong with you. It's just there were some connections that were wrong for you, and clearing those out and clearing those away, even though it might hurt in the short term. And let's be clear, you don't even necessarily have to do anything. I think for some of you, if you just put down the need or the feeling like you have to initiate or to continue putting effort into something, especially if you feel obligated to, or like, well, I should because we have history, just put it down and see what happens. I feel like what you'll find is that some of those people don't even really reach out. And while that might be hurtful and maybe that's what you've been afraid of, that's what you need to see in order to recognize these are not situations worthy of putting my time, effort, and energy to. These are not people that are forever people. These are not people that will honor me and support me and be in genuine connection with me in a balanced and healthy way. So when there is imbalance, when you are always the one giving, when you are always the one putting the effort in, I think you may have awareness of like certain situations like that. Give yourself permission to not have to put effort in and see what happens. I would be willing to bet you'll get a lot of answers, and while they may not be the answers you want, they will set you free and help you recognize what is truly aligned with you and what isn't. So pile one, that is where I'm going to leave this reading. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you so much for letting my ads play in the background. That's one of the simplest and easiest ways to support me, especially financially. So thank you to everyone who does that. If you'd like to support me in other ways, like this video, comment down below, let me know how it resonates, subscribe if you haven't already. Shout out to my notification squad. Y'all are the best. You can click that little notification bell to be notified whenever I upload a new reading, to be part of notification squad. And I usually see comments when I first upload. After that, it is a matter of fate, but I'm doing my best to respond to more comments. So I would love to hear from you guys. Thank you guys for sharing yourselves and making the comment section such a wonderful place. If you guys would like to support me in other ways, you can check out my social media, merch, candles, code ASO10, of course. You can check out other videos, ones with extendeds. But yeah, that's where I'm going to leave this reading. Thank you guys so much for watching and for letting me read for you. I hope you all have a wonderful day or night whenever it is that you're watching this video, and I hope you'll come back and see me again soon. Bye! Hi there, Pile 2. Welcome to your reading, and thank you so much for being here. If you guys chose the Fawn of Mars, this is going to be your reading on who has their eye on you and why. So these cards are going to represent who this person is, and these cards are going to represent why, and then we'll go deeper, full breakdown of the reading in the intro per usual. So we have the Fawn of Mars, we have the Moon, and we have Cat, and then for what's their deal, why do they have their eye on you, we have Visions, we have Light, and the Nine of Cups. Okay, this is really, really beautiful. The first thing that I want to say about this person is less about who they are and more about what their deal is with you. There's a lot about themselves that they are uncertain about. But one thing they know to be true is that you are a beacon of light in their life. And I see that they have a lot of powerful visions of the future with you and positive desires for how yours and their relationship is meant to evolve. This is definitely someone in your life that you could find a bit complex and confusing. And I think they would even say, I find myself complex and confusing. It seems like they've been in a powerful period of transformation. One thing I am hearing is that there might be, when I'm describing this person, they might sound like you. I guess they could be you if what I'm describing fits, but if this also fits another person, please take that interpretation because it is about another person. If you were meant to hear about yourself, I would imagine you'd be guided to a reading for that. But you know, if you're like, actually, I do feel like this is only about me, and you feel interested in watching, I'll give that interpretation when I can. But this is definitely someone who energetically is well balanced. So they have a healthy balance of feminine and masculine energies within them, and that has nothing to do with gender expression and everything to do with like basically yin and yang energies. So they're in this period right now where they're coming out of a really intense spiritual, I want to say more so upgrade rather than transformation, where their energies are balancing. And I would be willing to bet this person is showing up in your life in more frequently or showing up in ways they never have before. Like maybe they are more balanced than they typically are, or maybe they're reaching out to you more often, or maybe this person has been on your mind a lot and you're not interacting with them at all, but you just have a feeling you might hear from them, or you've been feeling this urge to reach out to them. I wouldn't be shocked if that's the case, because this is definitely someone who has positive intentions towards you for sure, at least from what I'm seeing here, and also has a very powerful vision and understanding of themselves. Well, maybe less of themselves, but of the growth they've had and of what isn't self energy. And I think you have been a positive inspiration in that. This is definitely someone who, in terms of like your familiarity with them, it could be all across the board. So like this could be someone that you're really close to. This could be someone that you've always really vibed with, but maybe haven't interacted with in a long time. This could be somebody that you have a desire to be closer to or are always curious about. This could be someone that you are more of an acquaintance with. It could be a romantic kind of connection, a platonic kind of connection. This could be a business type of connection, somebody that really sees a beautiful collaborative vision with you. This could also be someone that's even like family. I would definitely say when it comes to this person though, they are somebody that you might find a bit complex or confusing. And like I said, they would own up to that as well. This is definitely someone as well that you find comfortable companionship with, but you may have also had to learn lessons in patience around them. It definitely seems like if you've known them for a while, they have transformed a lot in the time you've known them, and the frequency at which you've connected may have fluctuated. So for example, you know, maybe they're showing up in your life more now and more consistent, and maybe that's different than in the past, or maybe they are their energy is showing up in your life more often and you haven't thought about them in a long time. No matter what, this is definitely someone who, if they haven't yet, they want to be more emotionally vulnerable with you. I feel like they are becoming more emotionally in tune with themselves, and I think they have a very great depth of emotional awareness that they've always had, but the ability to express that and process that is healthier and more pronounced than it used to be. I can definitely see here that this is somebody who wants to create with you, and not in a destructive manner. If there have been any destructive things in the past between the two of you, they want to create a more positive outcome there. The only way I would say this isn't this person is not who I'm talking about is if this is somebody that repeatedly comes into your life and is quite destructive and emotionally unavailable and not conscientious about things. I feel like it's easy sometimes for some of y'all to just automatically assume it's some person from your past you don't want to deal with, and I can confidently say that if they come around and bring a lot of the same BS, they don't grow, they don't evolve, they don't meet you with where you're at, this is not them, because this is somebody who can match your emotional depths, and maybe they are taking time to be as comfortable sharing their emotional depths as you are, if you are comfortable with it. But there is a powerful spiritual shift happening within them that I don't think you have seen the depths of how it's affected them. Maybe you've seen glimpses of it, like maybe when they talk to you, they're more emotionally vulnerable than they used to be, or maybe their energy feels a little bit lighter around you, or maybe they're a little bit more open, maybe they share more than they used to. And I think really the biggest way you'll know this person is the person that I'm describing is you've always known in their heart, no matter what has gone down between the two of you, they've never done anything intentionally to cause you harm. Like any conflict or destruction between the two of you, which I'm not saying there has been. For some of you, there hasn't been any at all. But for others, if there has, it's never been intentional, and it's been created from like outside circumstances, miscommunications, misunderstandings, things that are just, you know, blips that happen in interpersonal relationships, but that can be hard to work through if, you know, conflict isn't your forte, or if things are particularly upsetting or hard for you to work through. This is definitely somebody who is highly intuitive as well. In fact, it might be hard, like when you're around them or when you're communicating with them, like it may be hard to know where you end and they begin. I definitely feel like there's a level of camaraderie here and a level of feeling seen, but the thing is that level of feeling seen may not always be comforting or desired. There may be times where that feeling of being seen is actually confronting or makes you feel exposed in a way that's uncomfortable. And I would say that they have probably experienced that from you as well. And actually, I think one thing that's shifting with this person is that where they used to feel exposed by your own intuitive awareness of them, by your ability to see through who they project themselves to be into who they truly are, like especially on a soul level, that used to be really confronting and uncomfortable for them. And I think it's actually something that they're finding liberating. And actually this like makes me want to grin, and also, well, I am grinning. You can't see my face, but hopefully you can hear it in my voice. And it makes me want to tear up. You've always seen the light in them, even when they haven't seen it in themselves. And there's something profound happening with them where they are more in alignment with their desires with you than ever. So what those desires are, I think, is unique for everyone. So for example, you know, maybe this is a close friend, or, you know, a friend that you've had in your life on and off, and they might want to come visit you, or maybe this is a romantic interest or someone that you've, you know, had feelings for, and you know they've had feelings for you, but it just hasn't worked out, and now they're seeing like a vision. There's so many different possibilities of how this could work, but what I see their deal is right now is that they're taking in a lot of powerful information and dreaming a lot about you, what they see for your future together, and also reflecting on their past, reflecting on their interactions with you. I think that there are past circumstances that they are looking at in a different context, like certain experiences where maybe you've called them out, or maybe you acknowledged something that they never shared with someone, or that they didn't realize anyone had noticed about them, and maybe they were a bit defensive about it, or didn't really share how profoundly that impacted them. And they're looking back on that now and realizing like, wow, like pile 2 is actually, they were seeing me in a way that I didn't even see myself. Like there's definitely this energy of, wow, like pile 2 is right. Wow, pile 2 saw this light in me before I saw it in myself. And I definitely feel like this new person that they're stepping into it feels a bit new, it feels a bit weird, it feels a bit shaky. But I can definitely see them, like they definitely have their eye on you because they're processing a lot when it comes to your relationship, when it comes to your connection, when it comes to how you've impacted them. They definitely see you in a really wonderful light, and they have desires and dreams when it comes to you and them. And what those are definitely unique for each of you. But I would definitely say they are somebody who has a profound level of emotional depth, and I would be willing to bet that's something that you have as well, and maybe that's one reason why you were drawn to them. But they haven't always had the ability to be comfortable with that, or the ability to even feel like it's safe to share that. And so I think that there's something that they are recognizing about you, where their third eye is quite literally opening more, and they're recognizing that they can have more trust in themselves and more trust in connection with you. They can trust you more, because I think that you have shown them that you don't only talk the talk, you walk the walk. Like, your intentions with them have always been genuine, and you've always seen them in a light that, you know, maybe they didn't always see themselves in. And I feel like in the past, this person may have put you on a pedestal, or this person may have been hesitant to connect with you more deeply, just because they weren't ready to handle the level of vulnerability that just being in your presence gave them. Like, there really was no hiding. And like I had to hide the wonderful titties on this Fawn of Mars card, I feel like they had to hide their metaphorical titties. Maybe they're literal ones, but they might not have literal ones. I don't know. What I do know is that they definitely, when it comes to creating emotional bonds, even if this person has like the biggest golden retriever energy on the outside, when it comes to how they bond emotionally with people, or just forming deeper connections in general, they're more like a cat, in the sense that they need time to warm up to someone. You have to kind of earn their respect, earn their trust. And this is definitely someone who's always known their worth, and seeing yours as well. In fact, sometimes, even though they've been very hard on themselves, it's because they know that they can be better, that they can do better. And one of the things that they, you know, maybe didn't understand, or maybe didn't respect you for in the past, just because, was this idea of like, why are they so kind to me? Why are they so understanding with me? Why does pile 2 like give me so much grace? Like, I don't deserve that. You shouldn't be praising me, or you shouldn't be kind to me. Like, if anything, they would have expected, if you see them that deeply, like, you should be shaming them, or like, you know, pushing them to be better, to be more. And what they're realizing is especially when it comes to what their deal is, they're like, oh wow, pile 2 is extending grace and compassion and seeing me in a light that was always there, that I was unwilling to see within myself, because I wasn't able to accept the good aspects of my nature that inherently exist. It's like the only aspects of their goodness they could acknowledge is what they had already accomplished or achieved, or what they were able to do without like really trying very hard. And then on top of it, a lot of their positive behavior towards themselves is centered more around like, oh, they could praise themselves when they overcome inner struggles or personal challenges. It's when they don't that they're very hard on themselves. And I think that you recognized a lot of how hard they are on themselves, maybe to the detriment of seeing themselves more clearly. And I just feel like they are recognizing that not only are you an inspiration, but also you have been a source of wisdom, a source of empowerment, a source of healing, and a source of expansion, unlike anything else they have experienced in this lifetime. I definitely think that they see something special when it comes to you. Like, you're definitely a star in their life. And I'm thinking about the star card. Like, you're very healing. You have you've helped been a guiding light, even when they didn't realize it. Like, they see you in such a powerful light. And I feel like they are seeing you in the way you've always seen them. And I know that they've always seen you in a higher light, but they didn't always know if they could trust it. There was definitely kind of like, well, what if it's an act, or what if I can't trust what I'm feeling intuitively? And I can just definitely see that they see you not only as a star, like they have stars in their eyes when they see you, they light up when they see you, but also you give them so much hope and so many positive visions for the future and exciting ideas that they did not have before. And I feel like they definitely have their eye on you because they're having visions about you. They're likely having dreams about you. If you guys are communicating in the third dimension, or, you know, have some sort of like friendship or relationship already, I can definitely see they're thinking a lot about their future. I also think that if you are in close proximity to them and know often like what's going on with them and what they're dealing with, I would be willing to bet you've noticed a lot of these shifts. Like, you've seen their behavior change. They probably talk to you like, this is what's going on within me, and they're learning to feel safer and safer with that. And I bet you are honestly being blown away by the changes that they're making and the profound realizations they're having. If there's spiritual or religious or like psychological things even that you shared with them, theories you had or assessments you made that they didn't agree with or that they didn't understand, they're understanding them now. And if you interact with them less, I can definitely see that if they pushed you away in any way, I can definitely see that they are recognizing how maybe that was unfair to you, but also the fact that them pushing you away was not them protecting you from themselves, or them recognizing that you would get tired of them, or that you would see them too clearly and want to cut them out of your life, but rather they're realizing, oh, that was me pushing them away. That was my own discomfort with being vulnerable with myself. There's a really profound alchemical process happening within them, and they are acknowledging you being a catalyst for it, and also recognizing that in a way that they didn't realize in the past, there is more that you can offer in their life, and that you guys can have an equally balanced relationship, whatever type of relationship that is. I feel like they maybe thought in the past that you were too good for them, or that like they wouldn't be able to give as much as you were able to give, that they wouldn't be able to be on your level or be your equal in some way. And I think that they felt like, you know, your generosity and your kindness towards them was almost maybe like you pitying them or you feeling bad for them. And what they're realizing is that was not, it never came from that place. It just came from the fact that you're a generous person, you're a kind person, and you always saw the light in this person. You acted authentically. And what they are realizing about that is like, wow, I've had all these qualities within me, and now that a lot of the barriers to accepting deeper connection are being cleared away, they're having visions about, you know, what they want for the future with you, whether that is a deeper friendship, you know, maybe exploring a romantic relationship if it's something like that. Maybe it is creating a spiritual dynamic or mentorship, something like that. They definitely view you highly in a spiritual context and in an emotional context, and they see you as someone who is safe, someone who they trust to see things that they don't. And I think that their mind is a little bit blown actually around how many things you saw that they didn't necessarily agree with or validate in the past, that now they see it too, and they're like, wow, pile 2 is really on the money here, or they really got this. In terms of signs they could be, they don't have to be these. You can take them as extra confirmation, but with Mars, that's Aries energy. So they could have Aries energy. They could also have Pisces energy or Sagittarius energy in their chart. We have Neptune, Jupiter, and Mars as planets here. So any of those planets could be significant. We also have the number 67. So 6-7, June 7th could be significant, or July 6th could be significant. 35, so March 5th or April 3rd could be significant dates. I can definitely see here they're learning to find balance. They're kind of in this place where I'm trying to figure out how to explain it. It's like they're shifting from a place of awareness, processing, integration, into translating that into action, which is going to be perfect for the first question we're asking. But right now, they're still in the energetic processing component of everything. I feel like there's a lot of feel-good energy around you, and I wouldn't be shocked if before they go to bed, or, you know, when they have moments to themselves, they find themselves getting lost in their visions of you and them together in some sort of way, whether it's building some sort of business, or going on like a little picnic date with you, or seeing like meeting their family or something like that. Like they have so many different ideas. And if you guys are like, just say platonic friends, for example, they're getting visions for like trips they want to go on with you, things they want to do with you, that's like bucket list experiences. There's just a lot of like, what their deal is that they recognize the value of the connection between the two of you, and the mutual value of engaging with one another. If you've told them their impact on you, I don't think that they believed it for a long time. Not because they thought you were a liar, but because they couldn't recognize those things within themselves that they were offering. Maybe they had a more literal idea of what an offering is. Like maybe it has to be financial, or maybe it has to be time or energy, and maybe they didn't realize like, oh, you just spending time with me, or you just listening to me, or texting me back, like, you know, acknowledging me, like that's powerful, that's meaningful. Ooh, I'm getting hot. So I definitely think things are heating up between the two of you, and I definitely think things are getting warmer. If this is someone like, say for example, someone that you're already in a relationship with, I'm going to take my bracelets off because I know I'm going to be hitting everything and I don't want to be too noisy. They are realizing a lot of their fears aren't real, and a lot of their fears were not intuitive hits about you, but rather fearful projections from past wounds from different people. I definitely think one thing they might even apologize for is saying like, I wasn't fair to you. And you might be like, what are you talking about? You've always been like cool with like good to me. And they'd be like, no, you don't understand. Like at one point in time, it took like, I didn't trust you. And that wasn't because you weren't trustworthy. It was because I was unwilling to be open. And I think just a lot of what they're realizing is that their intuition and their heart are a lot more powerful than what their conscious logical mind processes in terms of assessing what is real and true when it comes to interpersonal relationships in their life. They definitely have a deep level of reverence for you, and I feel like if there's any profound truths that they needed to understand in order to be more open to you, they are having those now. And I feel like they've always seen you in a good light, but actually accepting and receiving that and feeling like they could also be a light with you, and that, you know, you weren't just keeping them warm, but rather you both are torches, you both are pillars, you both have your own divine sparks. Now they're realizing, oh, I bring benefit too. I don't think, like I said, I don't think they realize the benefit that just their presence or just connecting with you brought. And I think they may have felt like they weren't able to do enough or be enough for you or to be in your life. And what they're realizing is that that is a fallacy, and that came from a place of not believing they were good enough. And I definitely think that I'm hearing that dandelion song, like I'm in a field of dandelions wishing on everyone that you would be mine. It's like a really sweet song. But while I'm shuffling, if you're enjoying this, thank you for everyone that leaves me a little like or lets the ads play. I don't expect you to watch them. I'm not a monster. But all of those are super helpful ways to support me. So thank you to everyone who does that. But also I'd be willing to bet that maybe this energy is mirrored in some sort of way where you've been having realizations, like where, you know, maybe things in the past that you felt were rejection, you're realizing, oh, that wasn't personal. And I would also be willing to bet too, you know, that phrase, if they wanted to, they would. I feel like you're realizing where that, because there is truth in it in some circumstances, but I also think in others there isn't, and it's heavily dependent on the person. Like I want to put my laundry away, and I'm not. So there's lots of things I want to do that I don't do, right? We all do that. And I think that you may have realized, like you may have taken certain things as like, oh, they're not interested, or oh, they don't want to talk to me, or oh, like they don't vibe with me as much as I do them. And then realizing like, oh no, they were going through this intense thing, or they were dealing with some sort of mental health issue and like didn't have support and was ashamed to communicate it, or oh, they were having like really intense financial problems or family problems that they were needing to help others with. I definitely feel like you are a gateway of hope for them in a way that they have not had before. I feel like this person is used to being tough, being the one to inspire others, to be a leader, to be someone that others lean on and that others need. And I think that's part of why it was always so uncomfortable with you, because you didn't need them to lead. If anything, it was like two leaders coming together. And it was almost like, well, if I'm not in a role where I'm needed with pile 2, then why is pile 2 even talking to me? And that like really breaks my heart, because they're talking to you because they enjoy, or you were talking to them. Maybe the mirroring is so strong. I'm talking to both of y'all watching the same video and you're watching it about each other. Wouldn't that be funny? It would make sense though. Of course, both of you have excellent taste. They definitely, you are likely having those realizations of, wow, it wasn't a rejection of me, or it wasn't even personal. They had this thing going on. Like, I'll be willing to bet that if you haven't gotten insight like that, you will be getting that from them at some point. We'll look at what comes out in the tarot. But I would definitely say if there's any manifestations that you have around this person, keep your faith in those. I don't think you need to do anything more or extra. I feel like they're very much working, and I think that this person is manifesting when it comes to you as well. And I think that there's just, like I said, a deep amount of gratitude and reverence. And I feel like if there are any stories where you had a lack of clarity in certain circumstances when it comes to them, and your insecurities wrote stories about why those things happened, you're going to be getting clarity that allows you to really heal and release any hurtful beliefs you have about certain behaviors or past things that occurred. And I definitely feel like it's going to be a huge relief. And you're also going to realize, like, you could have trusted your heart the entire time of like what it was telling you, because I feel like your heart always knew, like, if there were things that were kind of painful or confusing, you're like, oh, you're basically getting the evidence that it wasn't personal. It had literally nothing to do with you, and everything to do with circumstances in their life that maybe they were ashamed of, that maybe they didn't feel comfortable discussing, or that maybe they just felt a high level of personal responsibility to resolve themselves and didn't want to bring you into the mix because they know how generous and helpful you are, and they almost couldn't accept receiving that from you, because the love that you give and the kindness that you give is already just at times too much. And let me be clear, it's not too much now, and it was never too much. It's just that they felt like they didn't deserve that. They felt like, it was too much for them to receive at the time. It's not that what you were giving was too much whatsoever. And I think now that they're receiving a lot of that energetically through their dreams, and realizing like, wow, this was always available to me. Like, this support was always available to me. Like, this type of connection and camaraderie was always available to me. I just didn't realize how much I was afraid of accepting it, and how much I was afraid of losing it. So we're going to go ahead and start by looking at, are they planning on taking any action at this time? Using the Apparition Tarot, and I'm going to be shuffling off camera because there may be a rogue titty. So, Spirit, the person who has their eye on, also they look at your pictures a lot. They think you're really beautiful. I feel like for a lot of you, this is a more romantic, or like friends with benefits or something. I feel like even if it's friends with benefits though, I do feel like there's some heart level there. But also if this is like more platonic that we're talking about, I feel like they still look at your pictures and stuff because they love seeing what you've been up to. Also, I think that you could be like a style inspiration for them, or like, you could inspire them aesthetically, or they could just miss you. And so they like enjoy being able to see you, even if it's just online or something like that. But yeah, if there is romance here, or feelings deeper than just, platonic, I would definitely be willing to bet they love looking at your pictures. They might even show you off to other people and be like, yeah, like pile 2 is incredible. They have nothing but beautiful things to say about you. And like for every single one of these stars, they could find just a reason why you are wonderful, a reason to be grateful, a reason why they are blessed to have you in their life and blessed to even know you. And to take it even further, I think they would say not only that, but if you count every star in the sky, there would still be more reasons. And actually what's really beautiful is, I don't know if you decided if this was a sun up or sun down. I was interpreting it as a sun up, and I feel like the moon is transferring into the sun, where they are, your light has helped them self-actualize and see their own light in a lot of powerful ways and see themselves. But also I want to be clear that they've done this themselves. They've done the work. They have worked really hard to be a kinder version of themselves, to evolve. Maybe they've gone to counseling or therapy, or maybe they've made positive, healthy changes. Maybe they've been exploring life more spiritually. Jesus could have some sort of significance here. You know, maybe if you guys have talked about Gnosticism or Jesus's life, Mary Magdalene, something like that. Piscean energy in general seems to be quite significant here. Like, you guys have this ethereal, otherworldly connection between the two of you, where I would definitely say that you both feel like there's just, you were put into each other's lives for a reason. And they may not have always felt that to be true. Maybe they in the past, they thought like, oh, well, you just see the good in me. Like, you're just being nice to me. Like, you don't see me that clearly, which is ironic, because even then they consciously knew you saw them so deeply that like it was uncomfortably vulnerable. But now they're realizing, oh, I see it too. Oh, wow. Like, it's just profound. You know that moment in Shrek, of course, what's an ASO reading without mentioning Shrek? That moment where Shrek and Fiona, or where Shrek has come in and stopped the wedding between Fiona and Lord Farquaad, and Shrek and Fiona have true love's kiss, and then Fiona like gets up into the, you know, the sparkly weird ass gold glitter and is going through a transformation. There's like light coming out of her eyes, and she's just like, you know, this like gold being, like, you know, in her transformation. Like, that is the only way that I can describe the sensation and experience of these realizations, self-actualizations, energetic upgrades, and like results of the powerful truths that they have been perceiving. Like, that has how it has been felt and experienced on the inside. If they have done something that cinematically incredible physically, Pixar, it didn't happen. Okay, anyway, the person who has their eye on pile 2 spirit, what action are they planning on taking, if any, at this time? Are they getting into the action stage, or... Oh, yeah. Okay, so they are, but some of y'all's favorite phrase is going to come through here. There is a bit of a level of divine timing here, but even then, beautiful. 9 of Wands in reverse. I would pay attention astrologically to what is happening here. If you know their chart, if you know an astrologer, if you are an astrologer, congratulations, you are very smart and interesting. And I don't know, I just think astrologers are incredible. Shout out to two astrologers that I love, K Moon Astrology and Miss Charlotte Astrology. Definitely check them out if you haven't. I love this combination because, yes, they're definitely planning on taking action. I'm shocked. I would be shocked if you haven't heard from them already. I definitely think that if you wanted to take action, you absolutely could. But I do also feel like for some of you, you may be waiting for this person to come forward. And maybe if you feel like the universe wants that, you might be waiting longer than if you just interacted with them. But also, it may be like healing for you to let them come to you if you're not interacting with them at all. I feel like for most of you, you already are interacting with them in some way. And I would be willing to bet maybe you guys are making plans. I don't really think it matters who makes that decision, who sets that in motion, but like interaction in the physical is going to be happening whether you like it or not. I mean, I guess unless you don't like, I mean, I would be shocked that if someone like this, you'd be like, get the hell away from me. But what I do know is that things are really going to move forward when you can feel a diminishing of the resistance they've had towards you in the past. With this 9 of Wands in reverse, it's like walls up that once felt impenetrable dissipate and disappear in ways where you're like, like, you know, maybe there are certain things you were afraid to talk to them about in the past, and now you're like, wait a second, like, this is so easy, or how come I couldn't like talk about this before? This is happening naturally, and there's really nothing you have to say or do to make this happen. I definitely can see that they plan on interacting with you. They might be very like, they might be a little bit over the top, or want to do things in the perfect time, in the perfect way. And like over the top perfect. So if there's like desire for you to interact and engage in a certain way, like, I think that you can go for it when you feel no resistance to it. And one thing that I'm seeing here is like golden hour could be a specific time. In terms of action, that like in general, I feel like they want to, this action is meant to be abundant in nature and quite generous and open. So for example, if they want to spend time with you, they want to spend as much time with you as possible. If you guys are talking, they want to spend hours on the phone with you. If they are taking you to dinner, they want to take you somewhere really nice. If they, if you're having them over, they want to help you around the house or do something to like make things, they just want to give in the way that you've been giving to them. If they have had some sort of stroke of luck or fortune, especially monetarily, this could be them traveling to see you, or asking if you would be open to traveling to see them. Like, I could even see for some of you that they might have reached a point where, or they're going to reach a point soon where they would be able to pay for your tickets, or they might talk about, hey, do you want to meet up somewhere? If you guys like the train could be significant in some sort of way, or train tracks. I can definitely see, though, in terms of action, there's tons of different pathways and tons of different ways that you guys can and will connect. You can always leave it up to them, but if there is an authentic form of connection that sounds genuine to you and sounds good, and that you feel like, yep, I am open to interacting in this way without expectation of how it is returned or received, go for it. I can just definitely see here, the only time you will run into snafus or challenges is when you feel like the invisible barrier that you felt before. But I think one thing to know, like to really confirm that this is them, is that even when you do engage with them and interact with them, especially when it's you to them, even if there's still that like energetic wall up, or you can tell they're holding back, they're still engaging with you, even if it's not much. And I have to stress that if they're still at that point, that's significant, because they're processing a lot. And for some of you, if they're processing a lot right now and they are still learning to develop confidence in themselves, they might be waiting to, you know, be a little bit more open because they want to feel more certain. And also, it may just be a lot to their system. And so the only way I would say this person isn't them is if they are like, if they just ignore you, do not interact with you, or do not even really acknowledge any interaction you're having with them, because this is somebody who sees the world in you, and somebody like that would never treat you in like a rude or dismissive way. This is somebody who, like, you would know that even if they're not giving maybe as much of a response you'd like, or not contributing as much as you would like, you know they're giving you what they can. And it's quite possible too that the more you interact with them, you'll realize like, oh, you've been working 14 hours a day and then going back to your parents' house and caretaking for them. Like, no wonder you haven't been able to give much. And then you might be like, wow, the fact that they're even responding to me, like you might understand, wow, that's actually more significant than I thought. But there's definitely this purification of passionate acceptance of the safety of connecting with each other that's coming in your interactions with one another. And I see it downloading in them. Like, look at this pink fire and how it is on top of this fawn of Mars. Like, they are receiving so much right now, and so they are processing a lot, but that is going to be translated into powerful ideas and powerful expansion. Like, this person definitely sees your you and them as aligned and in each other's lives for a reason. And I do think whatever action they take towards you, it could quite literally be some sort of manifestation that you've had. Like, if you wanted to have a heart-to-heart, or if you've wanted to go visit them, like, I think that you will see that happening. And I feel that the wheel is already turning. So you've probably already had visions or signs, or hopefully, ideally, how you can really trust this is physical engagement and interaction between the two of you. If you are afraid of that and resistant to that, I would highly recommend looking at why that is and what part of you is afraid of being rejected by them or not being received by them, because it's those parts of you, like shedding those, that might actually help them as well shed their last remnants of fear as well. Part of your empowerment in this process is recognizing the genuine intention of your interaction and not being attached to how it's received, because how it's received on the surface and visually is not the same as how it may be received internally. Because one thing about this person that has their eye on you is that they have a profound ability to be unreadable. Not for me and not for you technically, but you are also kind of emotionally involved. And so, you know, when you try to read your own cards, for example, it can be sort of challenging, right? Because you have personal attachment and connection to it. It might be hard for you at times to perceive what's actually happening, because you could just be afraid, like, what if you're wrong? What if that's stupid? Ultimately though, I feel like this is happening soon. I mean, the fact that we have the nine of wands here and then the wheel of fortune, which is a 10, like we're going from 9 to 10. I do think, like, in terms of timing, this could be 9 to 10 days, or like literally in the span of a day. 10 days, maybe the process of doing significant is like 9 to 10 weeks, but even then I don't feel like it's that long. The number 10 just seems to be significant in general. And I also would be willing to bet, if you asked a talented astrologer, or, you know, if you're able to get a personal reading from someone, they could give you a better idea. But also, if you are in therapy, I would really encourage you, like, to ask, or if you have a spiritual mentor or like a religious mentor that you go to, ask them about connecting, authentic connection, and like what their advice would be for that. I feel like for some of you, it might really benefit for you to hear just like the purity of your intentions, or just how those that already help you, how they see your growth, or what guidance they can give you to help you feel secure and maybe taking actions that make you a little bit nervous or uncertain. Ultimately though, if you haven't seen anything yet, you should be soon. And I would say, if literally nothing happens and nothing changes, and the person you think this is, like, nothing like really happens, I would inquire on that further. Maybe do some more personal work, and also make sure that you're okay, and make sure your actions are aligned with what's best for you. If you find yourself taking actions that align under self-betrayal, or that have you moving into a space where you're not caring for yourself, or you're feeling negatively about yourself, or negatively in general, if you feel like there's something you're missing or something that's going wrong, definitely take a step back and make sure that you're focusing on yourself. Make sure that you're caring for yourself. And whatever answers you come to in that process, I feel like not only will that bring you the most peace, but also sometimes with situations like this, the only thing that can give us the answers we need are time. And I would actually even recommend too, if you really need a sign or really need to know, if the person that I am describing is the person that you are asking about, which I feel like the fact that you're here is already really significant. But I'm also aware of the fact that we're on the internet, and sometimes there are varying situations, and the last thing I ever want is to like have someone hold on to something when maybe it's not healthy for them. Make sure it feels good, healthy, aligned, and you don't feel tension or stress, or like you have to hold on to it. Because this is a situation you don't have to hold on to, because it's never left you. It is always here. Their presence is always here. And also, you are loved and you are safe. Like, everything is okay. But yeah, a lot of information came out from that. And I was literally just asking about actions, but it seems like your guides, particularly for each of you, they've just had a lot that they want to say. And it's just quite possible that maybe you've been in a place where you haven't been very spiritual, or like just connecting to yourself spiritually, which is okay. And important to do at times, but you might be feeling bad or shitty about that, or just having a hard time understanding what's coming through. So I hope the messages that are coming through resonate. And I also hope that for those of you that are engaging with this person a lot, that you're like, hey, so what? Thank you for being patient with me while I address other people that are here. But for all of you, I think that there is a message coming through from your guidance to know that beautiful connection is not something that you have to earn, or not something that you have to learn lessons to receive. A lot of the lessons you've had to learn come down to being gentle with yourself in connection, realizing the value of what you have to offer, and recognizing what boundaries are healthy for you, recognizing inauthenticity in others, recognizing unfair behavior in others that doesn't honor who you are, and having the strength and awareness to set boundaries or make changes accordingly. A lot of lessons are not, oh, we're gonna put this shit person in your life so that you learn not to do that. I think that's kind of messed up, and I don't think it really works that way. I think that unfortunately a lot of humanity is just at a place where connecting in a healthy way is not accessible, or something that a lot of us are still learning. And so as a result, it is, I guess, maybe a lesson in that way. But I feel like you might have this subconscious idea that things between you and this person truly can't work out until you've learned your lessons or you've healed, and none of that is true. You can engage and connect with this person now as you are, and that's part of what they're learning too. And in fact, like, if there is healing that you need to do, like, nobody ever has to heal. That's one thing. And one thing you might have to learn is that some people don't want to, and some people aren't interested in it. But this person is, because they've changed a lot if you've known them from the past. And if this is a newer person, you will know they will continue to get more open with you and talk about maybe like the past version of me used to be like this. I'm not very proud of it. Yada, yada, yada. It's making me think of Puss in Boots, actually. Like Puss in Boots might talk about, oh yeah, in my past I was like this, but now I'm changed. I'm changed cat. Oh, and we have cat here. Cats must be significant. Yeah, wow, your guys are coming through really strong. Really loving this reading though. Thank you for being patient. But now we need to know, what do you need to know about this? And I think I've kind of already answered a lot of that, but we'll go deeper. So what does pile number 2 need to know about this situation? We have the 7 of Wands in reverse. Yeah, this is a lot. What you need to know is that it's okay to let go of resistance and also let go of force. You don't need to force anything to happen. And also, you don't need to defend yourself or feel attached to an outcome here. You can if you want to, but I feel like there is a part of you that feels like you have to defend this situation, or that like this situation working out in the way that you're hoping it to, like attachment to that makes you feel defensive or like resistant to the uncertainties that happen in the universe, and like just anything that maybe doesn't align with how you've seen things. I feel like what you need to know is that you don't need to fight the experiences you're having, and you also don't need to place judgments on outcomes being how you saw them or not as direct evidence of like your ability to perceive, your intuition. Like, things are more complex than I think a lot of people realize. And I think when it comes to you and the person that has their eye on you, for some of you, you might be a bit defensive if you haven't spoken to them in a while. I think that you have every right to be however you feel you need to be. But also, you might, on an ego level, want to push this person or this situation away. But on a heart level, you deeply yearn to be closer to them and wish you could just let in the passion, the feelings, the fire that exists in this connection. I guess for some of you, you're like, yeah, this isn't really very platonic. But I guess for some of you it is, like you guys have been just very close and maybe things happened that you weren't crazy with. What you need to know is that you don't need to be defensive or on your guard. And I think you'll feel that emotionally and intuitively. But also, I do feel like there's a repeating message of you don't have to hold on to ideas of if they wanted to, they would, or you can't trust anyone, or that you have to constantly be on your guard. I feel like you can let down your guard, and also you don't have to push away the experiences you're having right now, even if they don't make sense to your conscious mind. I actually think one thing that you need to know is that you can leave room for complexity, not knowing, and also leave room for the experiences you're having. Like if you have waves of love for this person, or waves of desire to connect with them more, or waves of desire to be more open and honest about how you feel and how you want to share, I feel like you're really being encouraged not to just take whatever action you want to, even if it goes against like what you feel is right, but rather I feel like there's internal experiences you're having where you're like, maybe you're thinking about them a lot and you're telling yourself, stop thinking about them. Or maybe you want to reach out to them more than you do, and you tell yourself, stop, you're going to be annoying. Those are the things that the universe and your guides are asking you to release, because the reality is like, I don't think this person is ever going to be annoyed by you or be like, stop talking to me, because they see you in such a beautiful light. And if they did, then that's a sign that it's maybe not this person, and that maybe some of what I was talking about is more about realizing that your feelings for someone, or how they've impacted your life, their reaction to it or ability to see it or accept it does not negate that it's there. And you're not dumb or stupid for having profound, beautiful feelings and for being moved profoundly by your connections with others. You are someone that feels deeply. You are someone who is intense and passionate, and these are beautiful things. And I feel like there's a part of you that feels like you need to hold that back or hide it. And also, you may have other people in your life that may not understand your connection with this person, or if you've tried to talk about it, maybe they just didn't get it. Maybe they've drawn comparisons to someone that was like really crappy in their life, and you were like, oh my God, like it's nothing like that, but they didn't get it. I feel like one thing you need to know is that not everyone is going to get things, because not everyone is at the same level of consciousness and understanding as you and this person are. I feel like a lot of what's happening as well is you might be resisting this fire of purification that's happening within you, where a lot of past energy, past stories are being shed. And I definitely feel like you might be resisting surrender to what your authentic experience is about this person, about your feelings around it, about the complexities of those. I know I've already said that, but I'm trying to find better words to describe, like you might have, conflicting feelings, maybe there's still like past pain or frustration, but it's something that maybe your mind holds on to more than your heart. And your heart's like, yeah, it's all good. But other people say that I should be like on my guard, or that I shouldn't trust that. And it's not about what other people think. It's not about what the greater collective believes. It's about what feels good. Would it be a relief to just let the feelings or thoughts or experiences you've been having that you've been resisting just wash over you for once? Is it creating exhaustion, holding on to something, or holding back from experiences that are trying to occur within you? And if so, let them go and let them happen, and try instead of like trying to understand them or figure out why they're happening, just be witness to it, just experience it, and don't place any meaning on it. Just let it happen, because I think if there are conclusions you're meant to come to around them, you'll understand them in time. And also, for those of you that feel like you have to fight and hold on to this, like, I don't think that this is the person. I feel like what they want you to know is that this is not the person that I'm describing if you feel like you have to hold on tightly, or there's only ever movement if you're interacting. And maybe that was true in the past, but you will see change. You will see a difference. If it's always been the same old thing, same old experience, I don't think that it's this person, or I don't think fighting or continuing to hold on is beneficial at this time. Because truth be told, like, this could be this person, but maybe, they need time to integrate. And so in that time, you taking a step back helps you realize, oh, I don't need to hold on to this tightly, because it's always been mine. It's always going, like, if it's meant to be here, if it's aligned, it's going to feel good. But I feel like for the vast majority of you who this reading truly is for, deep down, like, it is safe to let the feelings and experiences and desires you have come in. But I can understand if there's wounds around, like, maybe you felt those before, and then, it felt like the rug got pulled out from underneath you, or that it wasn't the case. Which, like, that happens in any life, in any story, there are bumps in the road, right? But I think what you need to know is that it's safe to allow yourself to experience without making judgments or believing you're doing something wrong. You're not delulu. If anything, you're delulu for thinking that it's bad or wrong or silly to just have emotional experiences, even if your mind can't quite comprehend them. And also what you need to know is that if you don't feel any fire or any urge to interact or engage with this person, you don't have to. Like, let things happen the way that they feel good to you. Like, the biggest and most important thing here is you'll know you're in alignment with this situation when your actions bring you peace, relief, liberation, and authenticity. Those are like your 4 key things here. And I also feel like you need to know that even if you know in your heart this is true, but you just feel like you can't believe that things will change or that this person is showing up differently, know that your belief is part of what brings you success and that you don't have to fight it. But also, like, for the vast majority of you, I feel like a lot of what I'm saying is not for you, it's for specific people here, so thank you for being patient. But I feel like for all of you, there may just be this feeling of like, I don't want to surrender to the profound energetic and emotional experiences I'm having when it comes to my own personal development and this person in my life, because you may feel like you'll lose control or that there's something wrong with you or that it's weird to like feel this much. And I think what you need to know is that it's not wrong, it's not weird, and you don't have to fight it. If anything, that might be creating unnecessary exhaustion and confusion, and it might actually help you be quite clear to just surrender to the processes that are happening outside of your control and just be present with them. I feel like it'll be quite cathartic. If you find yourself crying randomly or like being moved emotionally or just having like things like headaches or sleeping a lot more than usual, all of that is just energy being moved, things being cleared, things being processed. You both are undergoing profound spiritual and emotional and physical and mental transformations. And I feel like on your end, if you have been hurt in the past, like if you and this person still have some resolution to have, I feel like you might need to give yourself permission to feel what's authentic and not what you think is right or what you think is like I guess the right thing to do. I know I'm repeating myself a lot, but okay, well now we gotta ask why this reading came to you. So Spirit, why did this reading come to group number 2, please? We have the Hermit in reverse. Yeah, because this little light of yours, number 1, it's meant to shine, but also number 2, you're not meant to hold this in. Like, your light and your love for this person exists for a reason, and they have love for you too. I feel like this reading is coming to you because you're meant to come out of this isolation. I also feel like part of why this reading came to you is because you've been isolated from yourself. It's possible that some of the intense energies that you've been experiencing, especially if you hadn't thought about this person recently, or like if you're feeling them and you're not interacting with them, for a lot of you that are where this person is already in your life, a lot of this 7 of Wands energy is more just like, stop hiding, stop resisting, you know, the visions that you have, the dreams, like it will be mutual. And I think that the more you guys like let down your own walls and listen to yourselves, the easier it will be for you to share. I guess that's why I'm having so many disclaimers to the others, because, you know, there's more there. I feel like those of you that are already in interaction with this person and trust, and however you're engaging, like you just don't need to be defensive or hold back or resist what's happening. I feel like you can share more than you realize. But for the reason why this reading came to you, it's because you're not meant to hold on to this alone. And if you've been going through something when it comes to this person or this connection or this experience, alone, I feel like, number 1, I hope that this reading has been an opportunity for you to realize you're not alone. Like, there are other people just like you that are having similar experiences with a person like yours in their life. Obviously, I would doubt they're the same person, but you know, you have more in common with other people in terms of these experiences than you realize. And you might be like, well, then how is it special? It is still very much special. Your experience is your own and it's still unique. But also, you're not alone in this process, and there are more people going through the same things and having similar feelings than you realize. And I feel like another reason why this reading came to you is maybe you've needed permission not to analyze things, figure them out, or feel like you have to carry this alone, because you're not alone. And also, you're not crazy. I feel like we have another 9 coming through here, and I feel like, you know, the Wheel of Fortune comes after the Hermit. And so maybe coming out of your shell in some sort of way, or realizing that you don't have to have everything figured out. There's nothing you need to heal. You just need to live, take action, be bold, share more, experience more, and reignite your passion for life, especially if you felt apathetic. I feel like all of that is bringing in the sort of action or change that will bring you and this person closer than you ever have been before, even if you guys are already married or something like that, or the best of friends. Like, I feel like coming out with what you've been processing and you've been experiencing will allow them to do the same. I feel like this person has a lot that they want to share, just around how much was always happening within them that they never shared. And I think it would be really profound for you to just kind of have an idea of what's going on in your emotional world as well, because I feel like it would be really like just healing and bonding for the both of you to like talk about, yeah, I always felt this, or I always thought that, but I didn't really share it because I didn't want to look stupid. I didn't want to look crazy. I don't feel like this is an isolated experience. I feel like for all of you that are still here and that are watching this reading, like, the reason why this reading came to you is to get you to realize, like, number 1, you're not crazy. Number 2, you're not alone. Number 3, we cannot ignore the fact that the Hermit is Virgo energy. And as a Virgo moon myself, I know and understand how intense Virgo energy can be and how hard it can be. Because, I mean, Virgo is quite literally opposing Pisces, which we've had a lot of that energy here. It can have a hard time sometimes accepting the more ethereal things. It might have a hard time not analyzing something. It might have a hard time surrendering into an emotional experience, because it would much rather prefer to stand by the side and analyze and, you know, have things figured out. And some things are just better not being analyzed and better to just be experienced and witnessed. And I know I've said that already, but I feel like there's something else here. What is it? Why did this reading come to group number 2? Well, first of all, because I'm hearing the song like This Little Light of Mine, I'm going to let it shine, so that might have some significance. But also, you don't have to turn your heart light off. You don't have to hide your light. You don't have to hide your feelings. I feel like this came to you to show you that the universe does have a better idea of what's going on than it realizes. Hopefully, I've been a decent conduit for expressing what they've wanted to share. But I also feel like if you think you and this person are separate or separated, I would really let go of that idea. You're on the same physical plane, so number 1, no. You're on the same planet, and that's all that's really needed. But also number 2, you don't have to hide from yourself. You don't have to hide from this person. You don't have to hide from your truths. You don't have to stay in the dark, and you don't have to keep this person in the dark or keep yourself in the dark out of fear of how your ego will process it, or out of fear of being prideful. But also, I feel like if you've been isolated for a long time or holding back, I feel like this reading also came to you to just ask you to go outside more. Like, just go live, hug a tree, pet a dog, you know, take a walk. Just if you've been experiencing a lot of intensity and you've been having a hard time seeing your own light, just know that this person is seeing all of it. And I bet if you've been feeling heavily disconnected from your light, this situation will help you reconnect to yours in a way where it's almost like them returning the favor. How you have shown them so much about themselves and help them see their light, they're going to be able to do the same. So if you've been going through a really hard time and feeling like you've just had to fight and that things have been unnecessarily difficult, that is changing and that is being released. But also know that this is mutual. Like, you will know deep down that this person is who they are, because you will know that it is mutual. Like, the evidence, their physical behavior, like, it will prove that it is mutual. If not right now, it will. And you will know that deeply in your heart, not in your mind, in your heart. And for those of you that want this to be someone that, you know, maybe you're afraid it isn't them, if you need more time to process that, it might take that time, and that's okay. But also, there is no shame in revealing truths. There is no shame in sharing truths. And there's also no shame in feeling things deeply and having deep experiences. It's okay to share, because if this isn't reciprocated, which I would say for 98% of you, it is reciprocated. Well, for 100% of you, it is reciprocated because this is the person that has their eye on you. But for some of you, I feel like you might have an idea of who this person is, and it is someone that you want to be, that you've always kind of held on to, from this feeling of like, I want them to be different. I think about them being different. I think about them changing, but they never do. They never seem to reciprocate. And there's a part of you that knows in your heart it's not loving to engage with them, and the universe wouldn't put someone like this in your life. I feel like it's a small fraction of you, but you guys are just as important and you're here for a reason. I feel like the universe is asking you to recognize that there's nothing dumb or stupid about having love for someone, even if they can't reciprocate it or they're not who you thought they were. And the fact that you've had an experience this profound, the type of person that I'm describing, they are meant to come into your life. You are meant to meet them, and they're already out there, and you're already energetically connecting with them. So all of you, this reading came to you because all of you have someone profound and powerful in your life like this, or will be coming into your life. And the journey of how your connection and relationship evolves is going to be different for everyone. For some of you, it's going to be smooth sailing immediately. For others, there are going to be ups and downs. For others, there's going to be maybe time apart before you come together. There might be complications. For every single one of you, it is different, and none of it is wrong. But for a very, very select few of you, you may really want this to be someone that is already in your life, but you know they're incapable of meeting you at the, like, that's really how you'll know, is they'll be able to meet you at levels that are deeper than anyone else has, or you've even experienced with someone else, and they can acknowledge it, reciprocate it, share it. Though, deep down, and I feel bad, like, no, I don't feel bad, but I feel nervous about even acknowledging that group, not because you guys are less important or something like that. You're just as important. That's why I'm spending so much time and care. But for those of you that are here and know who this person is and know the truth in your heart, you might be feeling seeds of doubt being planted in your mind because you're taking messages that aren't for you. And I'm sorry that I read collectively and at times like multiple messages come through. I hope though you know in your heart those messages you can discard, and you know the truth of this situation, and that's why it's here. I do feel like the tarot is addressing more of the shadows that y'all might be experiencing around this person who has their eye on you. And I think that's the thing, is you'll really know that this person is them because they will admit to having their eye on you. They will interact with you. They'll engage with you. And so if this is someone you think it is, and you think they have their eye on you, and you interact with them and they ignore you, they don't connect with you, they don't try, they just avoid you, then you know it's not them because they don't have their eye on you. But know that somebody does. And even if it's just their third eye and they don't know you yet, this reading came to you to let you know that you are meant to have profound and deeply impactful experiences of loving, genuine, equal, balanced connection. And I love this because this has been a message that came out in group number 1 too, but the energy was a lot more platonic. So just know, like, beautiful connection is yours, and your inner world is not meant to be hidden from the rest of the world. You're not meant to be misunderstood your entire life. You are not meant to be Billie Joe Armstrong walking on the boulevard of broken dreams. You are meant to be living your best life with people who love you and feel safe in connection with others. That's what you're meant to be. You're not meant to hide from the world or feel constantly misunderstood just because you haven't found those people yet, or just because it's hard for you to believe that this person does have those same feelings and intentions, or that they're out there if you haven't met them yet. Like, they are there. It is true. And you know in your heart it's true. And your heart will let you know if there is someone that, you want to fit this role that isn't. You will know deep down, even if your mind doesn't want to admit it. And it might take time for your mind to orient towards that. But the thing is like, when it comes to a situation like this, your mind may waver a lot, but your heart never will. And your heart's truths will be revealed more and more over time. And it will be like, yeah, wow, I knew I could trust in this situation. I just feel like for some of you, it's a matter of faith. And for others, it's a matter of seeing things clearly, plain as day, and seeing whether how they engage with you is in good faith and they interact with you in ways that are kind, that make you feel supported and understood. Like, this is someone who has genuine loving intentions towards you, and someone who really sees the world in you, sees the light in you, and is a wish come true to them. And so, you know, someone who gives you the runaround or doesn't treat you the way that you deserve, or just fits any of the profiles of the creator of the slappable jerk, you should look him up. He's very funny. If they fit any personality types like that and kind of seem to have no redeeming qualities when you take the rose-colored glasses off, you will know whether this is a situation that this reading came to you because you're being primed for the person like this, or because this person is in your life and you can trust your heart, and you can trust in how things unfold, and you can trust yourself to handle whatever challenges or uncertainties may come your way. But I also have to stress that part of the reason why this came to you is because every single one of you here has the tendency, no matter how sure and solid this already is, which for all of you, it is 100% solid that this person has their eye on you and wants to be in your life if they're not already. And if they have not met you yet, their fucking third eye is on you, and they are doing what is necessary. They may not consciously realize it, to find you, to come to you. Like, the wheel of fortune is turning in your fucking favor, bro. And I'm telling you that every single one of you project negative assumption and negative outcome onto a situation out of fear of being wrong, or out of fear of losing something. And the worst thing that you could ever lose is the genuine, authentic, loving connection that has always been your divine birthright. And losing it, or pushing, well, you can't truly lose it, but losing out on experiencing it sooner and more authentically and genuinely because you feel you don't deserve it, or you feel like you have to keep it at an arm's length. If you feel like you are the reason why this hasn't come in yet, there's some sort of level of interpersonal connection, or not interpersonal, with personal connection with yourself, where you may just need to be like, is there something in myself I'm not acknowledging? Am I not listening to myself? Is there something I need to do to feel more alive or feel more connected with the world? All of that can help you. But I understand that it's there's a lot of scenarios here, and I wish I could just sit down with each of you and like reassure you and understand the nuances of your personal situations so I could give you more confidence. But you don't need me to do that. If you did, our circumstances would be different, right? You can be confident in yourself. You don't need to figure things out. Your heart knows its truth. And for every single one of you here, the person I described and how they see you and why they have their eye on you, all of you are meant to have that. And for the vast majority of you, I know that you can comment and say, hey, I know that this is true for me because this started happening. You know, we started having these conversations. You know, we got closer in this way. We shed this thing. We bonded over this. Like, it's there. And for those of you that just haven't experienced it yet, it's easy to believe there's hidden monsters in the dark. But the reality is there's only light in this situation. And this light is bringing you awareness of what shadows within you are resistant to accepting more love in your life on a personal level, on a friendship level, on a spiritual level, on a romantic level. Like, love is trying to reach you in every way, and you're not meant to be isolated and separate from the world. You are meant to be a white woman's kitchen. You are meant to live, laugh, and love. You are meant to be the decor at a TJ Maxx. You are meant to live, laugh, and love. And I don't know why I'm so passionate. I know why I'm so passionate about this. It's because I love you guys and I want you to feel this way. And I just know there's a part of you that there's a weed in you that just needs constant uprooting and tending so that it doesn't get planted again, that you're like, it's not safe. I can't trust. You can trust yourself. You can trust in love. You can trust in the power of love to move mountains. You can trust in the power of love's truth to show you what you need to see and to bring you closer than you ever imagined to the people that move your heart in ways you could have never anticipated. All of you are meant to have that. Some of you have that already. For others, it is just a matter of time. You must surrender to the inevitable truth that not only are you loved, but the universe will never stop conspiring to bring those people into your life and back into your life and back into your life and keep them in your life so that you never ever doubt for a moment that your presence isn't honored, isn't treasured, isn't cherished. Sometimes we have to weed out the stinkers before we find the great smellers. I don't know. But trust me, baby, they're there. And I love you, especially because this has been quite the channeling process. And I know it hasn't been easy having to listen to messages that aren't yours. And I would say for a lot of you that already know this person, those messages that seeded doubt within you, look at those. that's where you need to be like, why did I take that on as truth, even though I have literal, intuitive, and physical evidence that that's not the case? Where do I need to love myself a little bit more? Where do I need to have compassion for myself? Where do I need to forgive myself? Where do I need to release? That is what's going to bring you liberation. Bars. So something is flowing through me. I think it's the power of love, baby. And I love it. I love it for you. And I love you. And I love you also for putting up with this chaotic channeling, because there's a lot of messages for a lot of different people. Thank God you're all intelligent enough to know what's yours and what isn't. So let's finish off by just asking for any final guidance for this situation that I haven't already given you. So group number 2, Spirit, what final guidance do you have for them? Yeah, basically everything that I said. Stop letting fear create stories that make you feel disconnected. Literally 6 of Wands on the back of the deck. You are meant to be successful here. You are meant to overcome whatever mental barriers, whatever communication barriers, whatever fears, whatever imagined monsters or imagined fears might be stopping you from trusting yourself and trusting this journey of love. The biggest guidance that that your guides have for you is to, number 1, clock yourself when you find yourself ruminating or spiraling into fearful stories, because not only are they not true, but they just create doubt and uncertainty in yourself. Remember, as I say, anxiety screams, intuition whispers. And so when your mind is loud and everything feels confusing, that's not the time to get clarity. That's the time to ground. That's the time to say, whoa, okay, this is not healthy or productive. When I see a cardinal right outside the window, if cardinals are a sign, take that as one, because he's very beautiful and bright. Oh my goodness, like he's so red. He's so beautiful. I wish I could show you. But what I need you to know is that, and you know, like the cardinal, imagine yourself flying over the chaos of your mind into clear skies. You can even like use your arms and like fly like wings, and like that movement I think could even be helpful. But also know, like, when you're thinking about them, they're thinking about you too. If you haven't met them yet and you feel like they're far away from you, know that they feel that same way about you. They wonder, are you out there? And know, and that's the thing, like that's when your heart, like tell your heart to send them a message. I'm here. I can't wait to meet you. I can't wait to find you. And if you already have this person in your life and your heart is just like, I'm afraid to share more, I'm afraid to see where things go, that's when your heart says, hey, it'll be okay. I love you. And I know that everything is moving in accordance of love. You're really being guided to not let the conscious mind create distressing fantasy that takes you further away from your heart and your truth. You're being encouraged to witness what is without analysis and recognize that conscious logic isn't always the best way or the best source of support for matters of the heart. Sometimes matters of the heart just need witnessing and acceptance and trust in what they're asking of you, even if they don't make sense or even if they're distressing. But for a lot of you, I feel like you might create outcomes that literally don't exist out of fear that they could happen. It's like hypervigilant threat assessing. And that hypervigilant threat assessing, that's where you need to look at what still feels like a threat to me, what outcomes terrify me, and why. I would definitely look at that, but also know that sometimes you guys are so smart that you're a little dumb, in the sense that, and I don't mean that literally, but I mean that in the sense that you might overthink something to oblivion and miss out on the answer. You might create confusion where there was clarity because you start over analyzing and wanting more complex answers. The truth, every question you could have about the situation, the answer is simple, truthful, and clear. Which is ironic because this reading was very long and maybe anything but hopefully it brought you answers that you were looking for. Recognize that there's a lot of value in your mental faculties, but they may not always be the best assistance when it comes to matters of the heart or matters of personal connection. You don't need to keep score. You don't need to hold back out of fear of rejection or fear of looking stupid. You can't look stupid. This person sees the whole world in you. And I just think both of you, your worst enemies are yourselves, and the people that will hold this situation back the most are yourselves. And while you can't control each other, you can control your actions, how you share, and know that not attaching to the authenticity of your sharing, how it's received, will help you feel free to do it no matter what, because the purity of intention and the purity of sharing and giving will set you free and help you realize how freeing it is to just live your truth. And I think that one reason why this person has their eye on you is because they are recognizing the truth, that they see something really beautiful with you and you've helped them connect to theirs. And I think that you guys are going to continue helping one another alchemize, grow, and evolve. There's something between you on a soul level. Like, there's spiritual utility here. There's a lot here. And for a lot of you, you already know it. And for others, maybe it's just taking you time to realize it's safe to receive it and be in it. But for all of you, the guidance that I have is to just let go and love and just let yourself live, dude. You don't need to think so hard. You don't need to anticipate. You don't need to be always one step ahead. You just need to take things one step at a time. Everything is going to be okay. And know that you sat through this reading, which, first of all, props. Leave me a fire emoji if you sat through this whole reading, because I think that you're really fire for doing that. But just know that you will know that you can trust the situation when you have no rose-colored glasses and you can see the truth of your hearts and know that they're not coming from a place of want. They're just coming from a place of truth. So pile 2, wow. I consciously did less cards and I still yapped for the same amount of time. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you so much for letting my ads play. If you'd like to support me in other ways, you can like this video, you can comment down below, let me know how it resonates. Oh my god, 1 hour and 21 minutes, of course, a full feature-length film. If liking the video is super helpful, thank you to those who do that. Like I said, commenting down below is really helpful. You can check out my candles, you can check out readings with extendeds, you can check out my social media, you can check out my merch, you can check out, yeah, I guess other readings. You can share me with other people if someone is also in a similar situation. I don't know, anything like that. Maybe I was just selfish and I just wanted to spend time with you guys. I really would, take doing 1.5 hour reading for free and be like, I'm selfish. We all have work to do, and I promise that I will be gentler with myself and more open and more compassionately and brazenly myself if you promise to do the same. Because I feel that this was I'm very honest with you guys and honest about this process, Pinky, because I just want you to know how genuine this offering is and how genuine this energy is. I wouldn't be telling you it if it weren't the truth, but I'm just also aware that, many people can come to a reading and want it to be for them. And this reading is for all of you. It's just a matter of knowing that it's the person, if you're accurate about who the person is you have on your mind, because this sort of loving energy, you can't fake it. It cannot be disguised, because it's not about being charming. It's not about being right. It's not about proving something. It's just about what is and what's there when you take everything away other than just what is there. And what is there, what is truly there. And you'll know this person has their eye on you because what is there is love. And they love themselves enough and are safe enough in themselves to share that, witness that, experience that, and follow it, just like you. Okay, I love you guys so much. Thank you guys so much for watching and letting me read for you. I already did my outro, so I hope you'll all have a wonderful day or night, whenever it is that you're watching this video, and I hope you'll come back and see me again soon. Bye! Hi there, Pile 3. Welcome to your reading, and thank you so much for being here. If you guys chose the Lady of Warning card, this is going to be your reading on who has their eye on you and why. So these cards are going to represent who this person is, and these cards are going to represent what their deal is, why they have their eye on you. Pile 2's reading was a lot. I don't think we will have readings as long as that moving forward, but I don't know why I'm telling you this. That seems relevant. I said relevant. Okay, relevant. That seems relevant. Okay, we have the Lady of Warning. We have the 9 of Cups in reverse. And we have Dinosaur. That is who has their eye on you. And so in terms of what their deal is, we have the Sword in reverse. We have Connect. And we have the 4 of Swords. Okay, this is pretty clear right from the get-go. This is definitely someone that did you dirty in some sort of way, whether it was an acquaintance, a friend, a romantic interest, a business partner. This is somebody who has reaped the consequences of their actions, and I would be willing to bet it's actually not just you that they've done this to. This is, I'm hearing Anti-Hero by Taylor Swift in my head, like the phrase like, it's me, hi, I'm the problem, it's me. Actually, I'm gonna read this lady of warning to you, because you might have felt like it was a warning to you, but actually I feel like this is a force that has been on your side. It says, oh no, they didn't. And oh boy, they will know they did, because the lady of warning is watching over you. Some just need to learn their lessons the hard way, and this lady and her fire ferret know oh so many ways to teach those who have wronged you. Your kind heart may ask her to show mercy, but this fierce fairy deals in justice, and she's taken a shine to you. So just close your eyes and turn away. Let the karma play out. So for those of you that may still be wounded by this person, you may wonder, like, have they learned? Have they learned? I don't know, but have they gotten consequences for their actions? Yes. I know it's easy to look at karma as only like, oh, like karma can be good as well, and also karma can be, I don't know. I'm not the arbiter of karma. I don't know. What I do know is that this person has caused some problems and they've received the effects of said issues. This is somebody who I feel like the dinosaur card talks about deep connections, but also missing someone, someone from the past. And I do think that this is someone that maybe you never got the chance to connect with this person deeply, because whatever actions they did sabotaged any further connection you can forge. And I feel like you had high hopes for this person. Like, you felt like they, I think that you went into connecting with them very genuinely, no matter what that was, and they could not do the same. I can see that this person has or had, I'm not going to speak for them now, some pretty deep issues with insecurity. This is the type of person that I've seen that can't really be happy for other people. I think that you came into this past situation with genuine intentions, and they did not. In fact, I almost wonder if they wanted to be close to you because they wanted to have what you have in some sort of way, or understand why you have it, or sabotage it in some sort of way, even without them realizing. This is definitely someone who can't celebrate anyone else's wins, because their own wins are never good enough, and they're always comparing themselves and always assuming they always need more. I definitely think that this is someone who now realizes that they are unhappy with how things unfolded between the two of you, because when we look at what their deal is, they're obviously wanting to connect with you. I think they're, at the very least, they're reflecting on the time that you spent. It's possible that you guys got close really quickly, or you opened up to this person and they completely betrayed you. It's like, it seemed like things were going to move in a very positive direction. And I think this person, one reason why they have their eye on you is because I think that they're doing a lot of reflecting in general with this Four of Swords. For some of you, this person could actually be in rehab, or be somewhere where they literally have to get away from all distractions. And so the realities of their behavior are becoming more clear to them. And it's possible that, like, they could have been on some sort of substances that fed into jealousies or delusions, and they could have really harmed you. I think one reason why they have their eye on you is because they are reflecting on how them betraying you in some sort of way not only hurt them, but hurt you too. And the fact that I said it that way, not only hurt them, but hurt you too. It's the realization of, like, oh, I hurt someone, not just someone, people. This person has a pattern of doing this. And I think one reason why they have their eye on you is because there was an aspect of them that believed whatever actions they took towards you were justified. They could have had even paranoid delusions about things they thought you were doing. They might have thought that you were engaging in spiritual warfare with them. They might have thought you were doing black magic on them. They might have thought that you were sabotaging them or that you weren't genuine. And really, they should have been talking to the mirror, because what they're realizing is that they have seen a lot of ill intent and a lot of malice where there never was any. And now that they're either getting sober or healing in some sort of way, because let's be real, some people don't need drugs to behave this way. Some people don't need substances or anything like that. They do that stone cold sober. They are realizing the fact that they missed out on genuine connection and stabbed you in the back because of their own personal issues. They have their eye on you because I do think that they miss you. And I do think what their deal is that they are either reflecting on the past with you. For some of you, they might be thinking about wanting to make amends or reaching out. We'll get into that more deeply. I feel like for some of you, they're just reflecting on the fact that you were a genuine person in their life, that you guys connected. And if you wondered, like, did they recognize, like, did they feel connected to me? Was that real? I think it really was, actually. I think they did connect to you at the level that they could, and they did feel that mutual sense of deeper connection, but they couldn't really see the genuine nature of it because of how sick this person was at the time. They were either sick in the mind or sick physically, and I just feel like this person was sick, and I feel like they're healing in some sort of way. They could have also been involved with someone who is like abusive. They could have been in situations where there were a lot of toxic people around them that were feeding them ideas. Like, they could have been making this person paranoid and saying things about you like, so and so doesn't really care about you, they just want to sabotage you. Because I could definitely see here, for some of you, there could have been, like, you could have been colleagues with this person, or you guys could have done similar things, or have even just similar hobbies, or run in similar circles, and they could have even been threatened by the idea that other people liked you more than them. And honestly, I think that this person may have felt like you shine more brightly than they do. And part of the reason why that was, though, is because they weren't seeing their own light and they weren't expressing their own light. They were so busy trying to prove themselves and be better than others that they didn't realize how they're not seeing themselves in the process. I definitely think that the reason why they have their eye on you is because they might be considering talking to you, or they are just processing how their behavior and how the situation between the two of you that unfolded. Number one, kind of how unfair it was, and how they may have cut you because of a perceived, like, I feel like this person attacked you because they believe that you attacked them. And it's kind of ironic because it's like, bro, like, how are you gonna attack me literally because you think I attacked you? Like, I feel like they're realizing the flaws in their logic, and I feel like they're also, whatever clarity they're having, they're recognizing that there was, you were genuine and authentic in connecting with them. And I feel like they're also realizing that they have had a lot of the wrong people in their life. And so I don't know, we'll look at this in a second. I don't know if they are considering reaching out. For some of you, I definitely think they are. Like, they want to make amends. They want to see what's happening. But for others, they might just be processing. Like, for others, they may not have the ability to, like, apologize, or they may not even want to open that can of worms. They might be nervous, or just feel like, or just may not have the desire to, like, go back into the past or acknowledge what they did, because that just might be too much for them, or they just may not want to. But at the very least, they have their eye on you because they're realizing that they were wrong about you, and that their behavior towards you was wrong, and that they projected a hell of a lot onto you. And I think that what really had to get to them was that they had to repeat whatever they did to you. You are not the only person they did it to. And in fact, I think that people like you were affected by them. It's almost like they were drawn to really authentic and understanding people. really genuine, open-hearted people, people that aren't afraid to be vulnerable. And the fact that they could project onto that so strongly and believe, because that's the thing, like they genuinely believed whatever they thought you did wrong, and believed that they were justified in their actions, which I feel like no matter what, I feel like some of their actions were not justified. But they are realizing like, I fucked up. Like they did, but also they're realizing that they're the problem, and realizing that they had a really unhealthy mind, and that they were hurting people who didn't do anything to them, and their own lack of healing. I'm also hearing spiritual narcissism. So for some of you, like maybe this person believed they could have been having like spiritual delusions or like spiritual psychosis, where they like genuinely believed that God was telling them that you were like it could even go as far as like they thought you were like demonically possessed, or like they thought that you were doing all this evil stuff, when in reality it seems like if anyone was doing harmful things, it was them. It's always the people doing that stuff that assume it in other people. Like it's always the people saying, oh, those people are doing black magic, that are doing that stuff, right? And I get the vibe from you, you're like, bro, I don't even like do positive stuff for myself. What makes you think I'm doing negative things for them? And it's like, yeah, but the people that think that are the ones that do that. It's like cheaters, they assume other people are cheating because they do it, and people that don't engage with people authentically, they can't believe that other people just engage for the sake of engaging, because they can't believe that people wouldn't interact with people just to get something out of them, And so that's why, so you might have been blindsided by this person because you came into it with such genuine intentions and you thought you guys were really aligned. And then you realize, oh, you might have really gotten hurt by this person. And maybe you put it in the past, maybe you've accepted it, but I can definitely see whatever happened between the two of you. You always kind of wondered, like, would they realize it? Maybe you felt guilty. Maybe you thought you did something wrong. You didn't do anything wrong. The only thing that you did wrong was like believe that you did anything wrong, like blame yourself for the problems of someone else that had nothing to do with you. And so I think the reason why they have their eye on you is because they're connecting to their heart in a way where they're realizing the fact that they hurt you and other people based on things that weren't true, based on delusions, based on an inability to connect to the wounds that they ended up projecting onto others. I do feel like for some of you, they might want to connect with you. They might want to apologize. For their own healing, they might want to make amends. But for others, I think that they are just connecting in general and realizing that their behavior was the core of the problem, and that they were wrong. And I also think that they are in a situation where they have no choice but to reflect. So whether like I said, they're in some rehab, or they know they've had to cut things out of their life, or they're on vacation and taking time away from everything, or going on some sort of retreat. It's like I think in some sort of pursuit of personal healing or some pursuit of change, whether forced by their family, the state that they live in, the circumstances around them, or a desire to grow and change. And that desire to grow and change might have come from a very surface level place. The end result is that they've had some sort of come to Jesus moment, some sort of clarity where they're realizing they messed up with you and they hurt you, and they've gotten like whatever consequences of their actions they've received, it has kind of woken them up. And I think honestly they wouldn't have seen this if they hadn't done this to other people as well. But ultimately, I think the reason why they have their eye on you is because they're connecting to truths that they couldn't in the past, realizing that they weren't justified in their behavior, realizing that their behavior was not okay, and that they were wrong. But also I feel like they're in a place of trying to heal mentally and trying to rest and kind of realize, like, just come back to basics and connect with themselves. But also I think they're realizing, like, a big reason why they have their eye on you is because they recognize now that, number one, what they did towards you was wrong. And number two, that you offer genuine connection and they are the reason why they lost it. And they might be missing that because they didn't recognize what they had at the time. Their own insecurities created problems that were never there. They projected assumptions onto you, and I bet that was really deeply painful for you. And I bet that they recognize now how messed up that behavior was. I don't know if they're thinking about telling you that or not, but at the very least, they realize it now. So we'll go into the tarot now and go a bit more deeply. I'm not gonna lie, their energy is kind of challenging to be in just because there's like a lot of honestly mental anguish in their energy. Because I think it's just really deeply painful for them to have to come to terms with the actions that they took in their distorted place, in their place of pain. And also, I think at first, a lot of the consequences of their actions, they took as signs that the spiritual warfare was working, or that the devil was out to get them, or they could have even attributed it, they could have blamed it on you and said that you were the reason why you were doing it. Meanwhile, you're literally just like overdoing your own little thing, like no clue that any of that is even happening. So I really feel like for you kind of severed yourself from the situation and was just like, oh, this is deeply painful and is going to affect how I connect with people in the future, but you just kept moving forward. I feel like it was really hard on you, and honestly, I think if anything, they're just starting to experience the pain that you had to process, grow, and heal from. And I feel like they're going to be in this pain for quite a while because it's going to take time for them to feel like they can forgive themselves. But also, I don't, like, I feel like they will. I'm not going to lie. For some of you, I do feel like this person, it just where they're at in their life, like, and where they may be their whole life, they're always going to come to conclusions that bring them peace. I feel like they're trying to find peace. But I think there is their spirit, the part of them that knows what they're capable of. Like, I feel like their spirit is really urging them to look more deeply at how they treated you and anyone like you that they also hurt, because their spirit is asking them to grow beyond that and to see the value in processing and feeling the pain that they've actually caused others. Because I think that this person has run from that pain and been really defensive and avoidant of themselves. And I feel like they could have even had consequences in their career or in their like romantic relationships, in their family relationships. And really too, I just feel like a lot of things that they have wanted, they've seen others get. And I think that you're no exception. And even if they had those things as well, but, you know, it's like, you know, maybe they wanted a car and you also had a car, but like your car was a year newer than their car. And so they were like, that's not fair. Like, why does pile 3 have, you know, a car that's newer than me? I want a car that's newer than their car. Like, it's definitely a lot of gratitude, a lot of lack, a lot of delusion. But I feel like they're starting to realize that and learn that. And they're in a space where they're kind of having no choice but to see things more clearly and heal from their behavior. And like I said, it might not have been their own choice, but they're starting to gain more clarity, and a lot of the cold behavior that they have engaged in, their heart is opening again, and they're having to come to terms with that. And so they're definitely the reason why they have their eye on you is because, you know, they're acknowledging their role with you in that. And honestly, I would be willing to bet that whatever they did to you is probably what they regret the most. Because I think there was a part of them that always knew that you had genuine intentions with them. And I think there's a part of them that was so determined to not believe that. It's like they wanted to harm you and see if you would do something worse or do something back, just so that they could prove to themselves that see, you were out to get them all along. And then I think you either did nothing or were kind to them or just walked away. And now they're like, oh, and if you did retaliate in any way, I feel like they realized that you only retaliated because you were feeling really hurt. And now they're realizing, oh, even the retaliation was like on nowhere near the level of the betrayal, I guess. I don't know, kind of interesting. But thank you to everyone who leaves me a little like. or comments or subscribes or lets the ads play. I'm shuffling your tarot right now. Because all of that is really helpful and easy ways to support me and allow me to continue doing these readings for free. But we're going to go ahead and start by looking at, are they planning on taking action towards you? So, Spirit, is this person planning on taking any action towards pile 3? What actions are they thinking about taking? Okay. We have the Queen of Wands. Well, I guess there's technically no... I'm about to sneeze. I don't think so, though. I hate when I need to sneeze and then I lose it. I just need to grab something to put on this lovely lady's body, because even though there's no titties, I'm just not messing with it. Well, maybe this is the universe's way of saying, girl, it's fine. I'm not gonna censor it too much. Let me see. Can you clarify this Queen of Wands, Spirit? Is this person going to take any action? We have the Seven of Swords and the Eight of Wands. So I actually think they are. However, here's what I will say. For some of you, they may not have the ability to approach you. But I think for others that have a greater sense of integrity, for some of you, they may not take action and they may just take what they've realized as a lesson and use it to be more confident in themselves in the future. And honestly, it kind of makes me a little nervous, because they might even just use that to fall into the same pattern again and feel like they can trust themselves now because they've healed. But for others, I do think that this person could take action towards you, and they could... And it might take a lot of courage, and they might reach out and say, listen, I was wrong. And another thing they will do is they will be like, I'm sorry for dimming your light, or I'm sorry for believing that you were responsible for dimming mine. And with the Seven of Swords reversed and the Eight of Wands, the Eight of Wands is literally action, and the Seven of Swords upright is betrayal. So they could quite literally take action to say, I'm sorry, or acknowledge or do something to rectify that wrong. But for others, I do think that they could just use what they're processing as an opportunity to absolve themselves, forgive themselves, and move forward with confidence again. But I want to see the best in this person, and I do think that they want to acknowledge what they did wrong if they can. They might even take action in a way that is more like public. They might apologize to you in front of your family or something, for example. Like, they might do it in a way that really takes a lot of guts, or take action to rectify something that maybe even goes beyond what they what you would find necessary. I feel like, though, for those of you where you feel like this person, maybe you always hoped that they would come around, or wondered if they felt the same way, or if they felt bad, I do think that they will take action to right those wrongs if they feel called to, and if they have the courage to. What it really comes down to is, like, for some of you, I feel like they'll just move forward and be like, well, I'll never do that again. We'll see. But for others, I do think that, like, as they build self-esteem, they could really take a stand and be like, no, you know what? I need to right those past wrongs, and I need to own what I did that was wrong and apologize, especially with the Queen of Wands and the Eight of Wands. For some of you, you know this person is greater and better than the behavior that they engaged in. And it was probably like, who is the person I was interacting with? Because this is so different than the person I thought you were. And I feel like also they're going to take action in a way that you respect, because I feel like what they want to do is something that will earn your respect. They want to be transparent, straightforward, and you might hear from them really soon. Or maybe they reached out to you recently or took action towards you, or said, hey, I want to meet up and talk. Like, they might really want to talk to you in person, or like on video chat, so that you can see the sincerity in their eyes. It does seem like they're planning on taking action, unless this is somebody who hasn't truly learned and is incapable of that. For some of you, I will say, like, this could be someone who, you know, it doesn't have the ability to take accountability that way, but does have the ability to absolve themselves and use that as an excuse to not beat themselves up anymore and move forward, which if that's the case, so be it. And I think in that case, like, if they do take actions that, you know, have consequences, they'll continue to get them. But I really do feel like it will take a lot of courage for them to I feel like they really care about earning your respect if they do take action towards you. And they really care about making sure you know that it wasn't your fault, because I think that I feel like for some of you, this person maybe obsessively kept tabs over you after they did what they did, and they recognize that what they did really harmed you. Like it harmed your light. It harmed your trust in yourself. Like they saw a change in you, and they thought that change, they attributed that in the past to, well, that's what they get because they were doing all that to me, and now they don't have, like, okay, first of all, here's a red flag. If anyone believes that light can be stolen, I would maybe take a step back from people like that, because light cannot be stolen. Light is within everyone, and I feel like they saw your light and believed it was theirs, when in reality you were just reflecting the light that they had within them that they were not connecting to. And so I feel like for some of you, they might really want to earn your respect or let you know that they really regret and feel guilty and feel bad, and right their wrongs. And if they do, it will be clear and overt. There's definitely nothing you have to do. But for others of you, they might not really integrate these lessons in a heartfelt way. And they might just use it to bolster their confidence in themselves again and move forward and believe that that's not going to happen. It could happen again. But I don't know. I feel like if this person does come around and does apologize to you, it will be really significant for you, because you'll recognize the courage that it took, and you might even be surprised, like, wow, this person doesn't really, I've never seen this person apologize, or, you know, maybe if what they did was really messed up, it might take a lot of courage or bravery or personal accountability to stand tall. But also, I feel like if you want this person to apologize, if you want resolution here and healing here, definitely keep calling that in, because I feel like you're creating that outcome happening really quickly. But also, if you're unsure or hesitant, like, I don't think you have to do anything. But I do feel like for a lot of you, yeah, this person will take action towards you, but for others, this person will take action in their own life and use what happened between the two of you and whatever they did to others as like a, well, I learned from that and I'm not going to be like that way. And if they are like that in the future, they will continue to get consequences for it. So yeah. Okay. Let's see what you need to know about this. So Spirit, what does group number 3 need to know about this situation? Yeah, what you need to know is that if you're looking for an apology from them, I think you will be getting it. Or there will be something that happens that lets you know, like, all of you, I feel like they are sorry. They are sorry that they did this to you. They are sorry that they treated you that way. And I feel like it's very important for their inner child to make amends. Like, they really want to. And I feel like and if you don't hear from this person, if you don't ever interact with them, or if they don't even have a way to interact with you and you want to keep it that way, just know that they are sorry, and that they don't believe that their actions were justified. They don't believe whatever they accused you of or whatever they, used to justify how they treated you. They realize they were wrong. They feel really awful about it. And also, if you were younger than them, when these things happened, they realized too, like, how unfair that was. Like, they were really, they believed that your innocence was an act. They believed that your genuineness was an act, and they're sorry for that. They're also really sorry that they're sorry for themselves, that they didn't realize that they could maintain their purity and kindness despite their hardships. I feel like whatever family environment they grew up in, they were taught that it's not okay to be sensitive. Sensitivity is weakness. Being open or vulnerable, that's being naive, that's being dumb, and you're entitled to be taken advantage of. I also think that they were taught really unhealthy ideas of what you do when there is conflict. You know, I feel like this is someone who cuts first, thinks later. And I think they're realizing that that came from a deeply unhealed place within them. And I just feel like what you need to know is that if you want there to be healing and resolution in this situation, I think that it can happen. I would let this person reach out to you though. I wouldn't, I mean, I guess do what you want, but like, I don't think it would be, it's not your place because you didn't do anything wrong to begin with. But also, if you are still blaming yourself or feeling like you did do something wrong, I think you need to forgive yourself, because even if you did do anything that upset them, however they betrayed you or treated you was not justifiable in any way. And also, I feel like even if you did do anything wrong, you didn't know it and you weren't doing it with intention. And if you had known, you would have been like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, I never meant to do that. Like that's totally not. And honestly, if this person did come after you in some sort of way and you said that, like, they didn't even believe you. They thought you were like being fake or something. And I feel like they just feel really sorry about it. And if you don't want to interact with them, or like if you're not interested in hearing from them, I feel like one thing you do need to know is that they are sorry. Like the universe wants you to know that they do realize they were wrong and that it wasn't fair. It reminds me of that meme that's like, you're really gonna have beef with me, like a silly little guy. Just know when you have beef with me, like this is who you have beef with. And it's like you like some cute little animal or just some little lamb, like, or something like that. And I really feel like they what you need to know is that if you're holding on to any guilt or belief that this was your fault, or that you did something wrong, or that you deserve to be treated that way because you didn't realize that they were like that, like I think you need to forgive yourself. And if it would bring you peace to know like they are sorry, they do feel really guilty. And I think even if for those of you that do come forward and say, hey, like, I'm sorry I did this, know that they will still beat themselves up over this. There's just a select group where they really only take accountability to absolve their own conscience, and then they make the same mistakes. And so if that is the case, those of you where this person comes forward, know that's not them. I think they will have changed, and I think they will have, even if that doesn't mean that you interact with them in the future, I do think it's just important that they're able to tell you that they are sorry, and that you know, that they care and that there was a connection there. And I feel like what you need to know about that is like, whatever you do is up to you. You are under no obligation to let this person back into your life. The fact though that they have the level of character to step forward and apologize in general though, I think is a sign that, like, if you do want to open yourself back up to them, but maybe with more boundaries or maybe slowly, I think that you are free to consider that and to trust your heart there. But also know that just because they are sorry doesn't mean you have to open your life back up to them. You're allowed to still be angry. You're allowed to still have, you're allowed to not want them in your life anymore. But just know that, like, no matter what, they are sorry, and they wish they hadn't treated you that way. And if anything, they wish they would have gotten help a long time ago. They wish they would have seen more clearly, and they wish they wouldn't have had to repeat the mistakes they made with you with others too. They wish a lot of things were different, and they wish that they weren't themselves, honestly. And I think that's a lot of the reason why they treated you that way to begin with, is because they wished they were you. They wished they were different. And what you need to know is that if there's any forgiveness you need to give yourself, do it. If you've been wanting an apology or hoping for an apology from this person, I really think you're going to get it. And if you don't get it, that's a sign that they do feel bad, they do feel horrible, but they are not at a level of consciousness or at a place where they can own up to their mistakes and take accountability, and that's not someone you want to have in your life anyway. But if they do apologize, whatever you feel is the proper response is valid, but also know that you're not obligated to let them back into your life just because they apologized. Whatever feels aligned with you and doesn't feel like self-betrayal, I think that's what you should do. Because this was never your fault. And I think that if you have beaten yourself up or allowed the potential even trauma, like this could have been like a genuinely traumatic experience for you, and I want to validate that. Like it could have been anything from painful and upsetting to straight up traumatic and something that you're still working through. They do feel bad about that, and I think especially if it was traumatic, I feel like they understand the severity because they've had to connect with your energy or connect with the truth of their behavior. And I feel like they've seen for themselves how you are different in some sort of way after they've treated you, and they feel horrible. And I think that for those of you where this person never owns up to anything, I think they will always feel a little bit guilty. And for those of you where this person does own up and apologize, I think they not only will still feel guilt till the end of time, but also they might have a hard time like interacting with you in the future because they might feel indebted to you, or like nothing I'll ever do will be good enough, or they just, I think like they are definitely getting the consequences for their actions, and know that part of the consequences is that even if they take steps to heal and resolve these things, the ghosts of this past are going to haunt them, and the process of forgiving themselves for it, I think, is going to be very challenging and something that they may not achieve entirely during this lifetime, at least while they have conscious memory of it. Okay, so why did this reading come to pile 3? Why did this reading reach pile 3? We have the King of Pentacles in reverse. So I feel like this reading reached you because you really needed to know firsthand that you did not do anything wrong here. As I say that, Justice is on the back of the deck. And also, if their behavior affected you career-wise, financially, in terms of security, in terms of your ability to feel like what you had earned for yourself was worthy in order for you to just feel good in what you do, I feel like this reading came to you to let you know that you are free and that you deserve to forgive yourself and that you never did anything wrong. With this King of Pentacles in reverse, I feel like this person was really jealous of what you had materially or spiritually and materially. I feel like this person saw you as someone that had everything. And I think the sad thing is that this person had everything too, and they didn't even realize it because they were so busy looking at the grass on the other side. They didn't realize that theirs was just as green. I feel like this reading came to find you to let you know that you have nothing to be guilty of. You have nothing to feel ashamed of. And also, if this situation has affected you in a way where you feel like you can't trust another romantic partner, another friend, another business partner, you can't trust yourself in business, you can't trust yourself in creativity, you can't trust yourself, you can't feel good in what you're doing, I feel like this reading came to you to let you know that you don't need to hold on to that anymore, and any healing you need to truly feel good about yourself and recognize your worth and recognize that the unfortunate byproduct of this betrayal is the fact that you doubted your worth and thought you did something wrong. And also it could have the psychological effects of it, the material effects of it. Like this is somebody who could have done things as crazy as like, you know, lie about you, or maybe there could have been lies that they believed that hurt your business or hurt your reputation amongst colleagues, or hurt your reputation amongst clients, like, or something like that. I feel like the Spirit really wants you to know that these things are going to be rectified. And in fact, because you got involved in this situation karmically, that I say karmically came out in parentheses for some reason, that that realistically, it wasn't like it was divinely ordained to happen. It happened, but also their actions and behaviors took you away from a necessary and needed role. Like, you were given what you were given because number one, it was your divine birthright, and also because you earned it. And also, you were put in that position because you're generous to begin with, because you are a good leader, because you're someone that people trust. You're generous, you are grounded, you are somebody that the universe is happy to bless because of how much you bless others. And how they treated you not only harmed you significantly, but also I think it harmed those that benefited from your presence significantly. So part of the resolution of that is, not only are you going to be getting back what you lost, but I think you're going to be getting even more. And you'll get more the more you rectify with what within yourself made you feel like you were wrong to begin with, or that you couldn't share or give or be the way that you were. I feel like you may have almost bought into what this person was saying about you, or what this person believed, not because you knew it was true, but because maybe you felt like there was something wrong, or maybe you deserved it, because I think you've always had a bit of imposter syndrome around your life and around how you serve, around your work, or whatever it is. And it really made you believe like, maybe I deserve this or something like that. And that's just not true. I think if anything, a lot of the heavy karma around this situation was not just about hurting you, but about hurting the people that benefited from you. And I know I already said that, but I need to say it again. And one thing that you need to know is that if you are still dealing with the repercussions of that experience, know that not only will what was lost be returned, but you will be given even more, just as this has all been held back. It's like you're like, what was lost is going to be tripled, because that's like the just outcome here. And the only way you can't receive it is if you continue to believe that you can't, or not step into your power, or step back into your role in the ways that you were already serving, or in the ways that you were already working or operating that were in alignment with you. I just feel like in some way, or, if this is, for example, if this is like a romantic partner or something, you are, one reason why this reading was meant to find you is to let you know that there are people out there that are genuine, and you are deserving of a partner like that. And that, what you've done in order to heal, like, is wonderful, but also know that, like, you don't need to earn anything. You didn't do anything wrong. I feel like this reading really came to you to help you realize, like, all the blessings you have in your life are because, number one, like I said, that you're a divine birthright, but number two, you are someone with these skills, strength, grace, and character to have these things and act within alignment with them. You are worthy of the beautiful things that you have, and whatever you lost in this experience, they were never, like, especially if they were people, or if there were people that ganged up on you, or believed what this person said about you, just know that, like, none of that will ever truly affect you. Like, everything that you've quote unquote lost, or any harm that has impacted you, know that not only will it be resolved, but like, you will have even more than where you were at. Because even within this situation that you didn't ask for, that really had nothing to even do with you, like, the beautiful thing about all of this is, like, you handled yourself with such maturity, such grace, such wisdom, such compassion. Like, you've just become an even more powerful leader, and you're attracting even more to yourself. And also, there's a massive windfall. And I think some of it is definitely in finances and in opportunities. Like, I think a lot of it is business-wise. The fruits of your labor, and also these skills that you gained from this potentially harmful experience, or not potentially, from this harmful experience, it's just going to make you even better and even more powerful in the future. It's going to allow you to have even more. And just know, this time you better recognize you fucking deserve it. And no motherfucker, no matter how jealous or how chaotic their life is, or what they try to do, they cannot touch you. This reading came to find you because it's time for you to step back into your throne. It's time for you to remember who you are, and remember that the universe, God, whatever you believe in, or just, you yourself, like, you earned these blessings. You've been given these blessings because you have the ability to use them with wisdom. You have these things for reasons beyond your conscious comprehension. I feel like there's work you've done in past lives. I feel like there are things that you've done that you can't even comprehend, and you can't even understand the value of what you offer and provide because you're not the one on the receiving end. And of course, it's easy to believe like, oh, you know, maybe I am doing something wrong, or it's easy to criticize those that are, nobody criticizing you is ever doing more than you. And I feel like you maybe have been on the receiving end of envy and jealousy from others as well, like not just this person. And I think you're kind of, this situation, you know, one silver lining of it is that I think that this reading came to find you to help you say, hey, you have full permission to step back into your full power and be seen. You have full permission to step back into your power and get back to where you were, and to know that you haven't lost anything. If anything, it's what was taken from you is being returned, and what you are owed is being given. In fact, it's like there's interest on all of it, and you're getting even more. So this reading came to find you to let you know that there's nothing you need to learn. There's nothing you need to understand other than what took you out of your self energy, what took you off your game, what hurt you. It is not going to affect you monetarily, business-wise, reputation-wise, career-wise. If anything, like, well, I wouldn't say it helped you because it's like messed up that it even happened, but let's just say that you took the lemons that were pelted at you and you've made some fine-ass lemonade that's gonna serve you in ways where you're like, I would have never had this lemonade and been able to, you know, give it to the world and benefit from it. So I guess thanks for that. It's like, you bullshit was thrown in your corner and you came out an even better person than you went in. And I think also this whole situation, I believe you remained in alignment with your character and your integrity, and that in of itself is priceless. And know that no one can ever take that from you, and know that, you know, no matter what shots people try to fire your way, you are infallible, because so long as you stay in alignment with that integrity and you continue to be in your heart and recognize, you know, what is aligned with your behavior, you know, what is the same generous nature you've always had, like you stay in alignment with that, the same recognition, the gentle, wise, compassionate leader in you, like as long as you stay aligned with who you truly are, which is that person, nothing can ever hurt you. And anything that you lose based on circumstances outside of your control is just being returned to you in an even more powerful, profound way, and will give you even more than if you had gotten it on time. I hope that message makes sense. But finally, Spirit, do you have any guidance for pile 3 when it comes to this situation? Is there anything they need to know? Yeah, bitch, you're a star. And just know you don't need to start over. There's nothing that you have to do, nothing you need to figure out. Like, the only guidance is that if there is anything that is still unresolved from this situation, you're being encouraged to heal it and know that it will be healed and it will be gone. But also to know that your light is something that other people will always have a problem with because they haven't discovered their own yet. And the sooner you realize that has nothing to do with you, and the more you realize that your light inspires and empowers way more people than it does invite hatred, negativity, criticism, betrayal, harm, the more you will realize you're truly infallible. And like any harm that comes your way, you're just alchemizing it into healing, wisdom, and power that allows you to attract even more, to inspire more. And I feel like the guidance here is to have hope and to believe in beautiful things and to recognize that, you know, you didn't deserve for this situation to happen, but it happened, and you deserve to reap the benefits of going through an unnecessary experience that harmed you and took you off your path. Maybe for some of you it was meant to happen, but I just feel like it happened in a way where, like, you know, it's just one of those things that happens, and like I feel like it affected you so profoundly and so deeply, it took you off your path, and like that created a lot of problems because it harmed the people that benefited from what you were giving to the world, from how you were helping others, and from, you know, just where you were meant to be. And so just know, like, the blessings have already been raining down on you, and they'll rain down on you even more. Like, the only guidance that they really have for you is to have hope and to see how beautiful you are, and how this situation really had nothing to do with you. It had everything to do with the person that hurt you, and that their healing is not your responsibility. It's not your job to absolve, but it is your job to forgive yourself, move forward, and realize that it's not your job to dim your light for others. Those bitches can put on some sunglasses or close their curtains. It's not your job. You shine bright, and you're always meant to. Your light is healing. Your presence is healing. You are meant to be seen. You are meant to be heard. You are meant to be shared. And in ways that you want to. That kind of came out weird. But know that you shine your light for a reason. And know that no harm or ill will can truly come to you. It can only affect, it reminds me of the notion of psychic protection. The only psychic vulnerabilities you have are the wounds within you that, you know, psychic forces can penetrate you with. So like, for example, if you want to protect yourself psychically, you don't need to, like, you know, be combative or go outwards or believe, well, first of all, believe that you are impenetrable. That's helpful. But also look at what within you feels insecure or doesn't feel good enough. So like, for example, if you felt imposter syndrome and then this person came after you and was lying about you, that psychic attack came in because deep down maybe you felt guilty for succeeding and maybe felt like you didn't deserve it. So that vulnerability allowed a psychic attack to come in. And really the psychic attack is like accepting truth in a situation that is an illusion and is based on a wound rather than a heart-centered truth. The guidance really is look at what wounds still, you know, make you feel not good enough or make you feel vulnerable or exposed, because it's addressing those that will protect you from any psychic vulnerabilities that could make it harder for you to continue healing and moving forward and progressing in the future. So pile 3, that is where I'm going to leave this reading. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you so much for letting my ads play in the background. That's one of the simplest and easiest ways to show support and appreciation for my channel. But if you would like to support me in other ways, you can like this video, you can comment down below, let me know how it resonates. You can subscribe if you haven't already, and be sure to click that little notification bell to be notified whenever I upload a new reading. You can check out my merch, you can check out my social media, you can check out my other videos, you can check out ones with extendeds, you can check out my candles. Be sure to use code ASO10 for 10% off. You can check out my my merch, social media, I think I said all of it. You can share me with other people, shout out to Notification Squad, like, comment, subscribe, all of that's really helpful, so thank you to everyone who does that. I love you guys so much. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever it is you're watching this video, and I hope you'll come back and see me again soon. Bye! Hi there, pile 4. Welcome to your reading, and thank you so much for being here. If you guys chose this seer card, this is going to be your reading on who has their eye on you and why. So we're going to start with these cards representing who has their eye on you, and these cards will represent what their deal is. So to start, we have the Seer, which you chose. We have Mantis, and we have the Ten of Pentacles. And in terms of what their deal is, we have Scry Mirror, we have Power, and we have the Eight of Cups in reverse. Okay, so this is really cool. This is definitely an ancestor of some kind. Very likely they are passed on. Although the other interpretation that I could see is that this is an ancestor that's still alive. And this would be an ancestor that has very deep ties to spiritual traditions relevant to their culture. And it's likely that if this ancestor is still alive, you are unable to see them very often. You might be able to communicate with them. It may be hard to actually communicate with them, depending on accessibility to communication and time zones, things like that. And if you do connect, you know, maybe it's more like it has to be surface level, or you're not able to connect as much as you'd like. So they spend time connecting with you spiritually in ways that they can't physically right now. But for the vast majority of you, this is either one or multiple passed on ancestors. And they could be biological family ancestors or spiritual ancestors, in the sense that maybe you had lifetimes with them, maybe you are part of the same soul group and have certain missions or purposes together. But definitely for a lot of you, I do think that this is a biological ancestor. And I would say they're only a biological, which that's not to say that any biological ancestors or family members that have passed on aren't watching over you and aren't connecting with you, but the energy itself that is coming through is an ancestor that was deeply connected to their own spiritual wisdom, and it was a deep part of their life. So if you don't recall any of your, or don't know about any of your ancestors having a strong spiritual or religious practice, and I wouldn't say a religious practice in a way that shuns personal power, because the big thing here is that this spiritual ancestor or ancestors, their religious or spiritual practices were deeply entrenched in sovereignty and personal power. So, you know, for example, I wouldn't say that this is like, it would be tied to an ancestor with a religious practice that viewed personal sovereignty as a bad thing or something that's not allowed to be enacted on when it comes to the spiritual realm. So for some of you, if you don't have a conscious knowing of an ancestor that had a strong practice rooted in their own sovereignty, then I would say that this is an ancestor that goes further than, that has been passed on since before you were born. But that does not make the love that they have for you any less, and the importance of your connection with them any less powerful. Although I do also want to mention that for those of you that were wanting it to be an ancestor that, or a family member that has passed on, just know that they are watching over you and want to say hi, and just know that they love you and that they are here. But also they want to give the floor to these ancestors that you may not know, that you likely don't know yet or are likely unfamiliar with, because they have a lot of power and wisdom to share with you too. And that's the beautiful thing, is that they all come from a place of love and they all have their own role to share. I feel like the family members though that you were asking about, or like hoping it would be, which like they're here and coming through to say hi, they also have their eye on you. They have their eye on you more so in a protective manner, whereas this ancestor that I'm describing, if they are someone who their role is a little bit different from protection. It's more about empowerment and expansion and depth of your own spiritual personal practice, and expansion of yourself. It's actually really cool. So who this is, they are an ancestor of some kind who has very powerful spiritual gifts, and it is likely you have inherited them on a biological or soul level or soul level, and you are part of a greater pattern where you are helping heal generational ancestral lines that you both share, and soul wounds around spiritual gifts and spiritual practice. So this ancestor you are going to connect with internally and in meditation. And like I said, even if this is an ancestor that you're consciously aware of and is alive and has a strong spiritual practice, the most profound way to connect with them is in meditation, beyond obviously physical communication. But there are certain things that maybe they don't discuss with you, or that they trust certain information or certain skills to be passed on energetically. And it's like less about conversation and more about energetic integration. But this is an ancestor or multiple ancestors that have their eyes on you and that are connecting with you already, especially like a praying mantis. And this dark green color I think is very significant, as well as this dark blue color, and falcons could be significant to them as well. They are definitely calling to you, not only because they're wanting to help you, but also just because they want you to know that they're there. They want you to know that that you are connected to them, and they want you to start becoming aware of the power of your lineage and the power that your genetics and your soul have, that is just lying dormant because you have yet to awaken to it. So that's what their deal is. The fact that we have Scry Mirror power and the Eight of Cups in reverse, there is definitely a powerful emphasis on helping you expand beyond your current limits and helping you deepen your own connection to yourself, help you brighten your soul's light and how it moves in the world, and also give you access to new knowledge, new tools, new awareness, and new pathways within spiritual practice and spiritual growth. It definitely seems like you are stuck in sort of a place where you feel trapped, or you may be experiencing certain karmic patterns in your life that mirror exactly what this ancestor or these ancestors experienced while they were alive. The only difference is that you have the power to rewrite the narrative. And so by changing how things happen, by changing the story's meant to end differently with you. And not only will that be empowering for you, but it will be healing for them, because you're basically completing something that they were never able to. And the thing is that I don't think it was because they failed in some sort of way. I think it has more to do with societal circumstances or something like disease reaching them, and them just literally being unable to complete what they came to Earth to do. But there could also be deeper wounds around betrayal on a societal level or a personal level. There could have been people within their family, or I guess both of y'all's family, if it's genetic, that didn't agree with their practice. They could have believed it was evil. But also, you know, it's possible too that they could have been deeply divided by, you know, their society could have been changing at the time, and they could have been taking up, you know, new religious practices, or there could have been religious crusades, or, you know, things happening that really wiped out those that were practicing their sort of spirituality, their sort of religious practices. And I can see there's a lot of deep emotional pain around their inability to complete their mission, or their inability to complete their mission, either because something unfortunate happened to them and they were just incapable, like I said, like disease, injury, like something human happening like that, or the opportunity to complete it being taken from them by a society that didn't accept them or turned against what I think for a lot of you was even like a very, very old religious or spiritual practice that had been within the family for a long time. So they have their eye on you because they're wanting to help you awaken to your own power, to your own spiritual gifts and your own spiritual wisdom, but also they are here to help you change the story. And not only will changing this story be healing for you, it'll be healing for them too, because even though they didn't get the outcome that they wanted, or the outcome that they felt that maybe they were literally meant to experience, or the pathway they were meant to follow, you're going to. And that is assured. I mean, that's part of the reason why you're incarnated in this time where you're at. Like, the circumstances of your incarnation have been set up as such that the circumstances that they fell victim to, you are not meant to. So, and there's a lot of protection and support. And I see where your personal ancestors come, like that you do know, are involved in this, unless you do know exactly who this is. They are involved in helping this as well, because I think this goes beyond just you and this ancestor that's coming through. I think it's even deeper than that. Like, I think it's a deep familial wound, and I think it has had further reaching consequences than maybe one would consciously realize. Like, the subtle impacts of that not being complete could have had ripple effects in the family for generations afterwards in different ways, just the pain of it alone. So this ancestor is really coming through because they're here to help support you through a spiritual initiation and a spiritual threshold you're crossing. So if you've been in a place where you're feeling really confused, or you've been like, you know, like you felt a presence that you can't quite understand, or you've known like there's some threshold you're meant to step beyond, you're absolutely right. And this ancestor is helping you. And one thing that I'm hearing is that not only is it not okay to be confused, but the less you try to figure things out, the more you can be supported in just learning and understanding. So I'm going to go ahead and start shuffling your tarot, and we're going to go in more deeply. I think I'm going to have to rewrite, I think I'm going to have to shift these questions a little bit just to kind of better fit these circumstances. So I think, so the question I've asked for each group so far is this person planning on taking any action? Your ancestor is already taking action. So let's see what action your ancestor is guiding you to take, and or what action you can take to connect with them more consciously and more clearly than you have been. I do think it's possible you've already been experiencing them in your dreams and meditations, and you felt them. You just haven't known like what the source of it is, and maybe there have been different signs and you haven't recognized how they all connect. And I think what you're going to find is that they connect all back to this ancestor. Like they could be as far back, like the 34 was making me like think of like 340 BC or like 340 AD. But maybe 65, like maybe 65 CE, 65 65 BCE, 65 AD. Well, I guess they use CE now for Common Era. Change that stuff so much. Not so much, just a little bit. Like being dramatic, I'm like, they changed things so much. They changed the AD from a CE, making me look like a fool. Silly. Okay, so this ancestor of... Actually, okay, I feel like they want to introduce themselves a little bit further. So this ancestor of pile 4s, what can you tell us about yourself? What do you want pile 4 to know about you? Oh, that they love you so much, and you're so much like them. The fact that we have the sun here, you guys have eerily similar lives. Like, even though the circumstances and the worlds that you grew up in are vastly different, your lights and your spirits are the same. You guys are one and the same on a spirit level, and like, it's actually crazy how similar you both are. Like, I'm seeing like a little girl from like a long time ago with like a handmade home doll that like was made with the materials around them. I wonder if you made things like that for yourself, or if you really loved dolls growing up. I feel like their spirit was there, like witnessing you play. Hoodoo or voodoo could be significant for some of you. That could be one of the practices involved here. But with the sun as well, they're very proud of you. You know, it's funny. I was like, why don't you tell us about yourself? And they're like, well, they're you in a lot of ways. Like, if you want to know more about them, connect with who you are, because you guys are very similar in your core spiritual aspects, in your character, in your sense of humor, in how you respond to people, and what you find joyful. Like, if there are things that you really enjoy, like whatever your hobbies are, like gardening, like they would have loved if you love video games, they would have loved video games if they would have existed back then. I think like maybe one thing you both would love is like just getting lost in different worlds, or seeing the light in others. I definitely feel like if people tell you you have a beautiful smile or an infectious laugh, this ancestor did too. Or if there's like a way that your eyes light up when you're really passionate, like your ancestor was the same way. You guys are very, very similar, and they're always rooting for you. And there is like in the most beautiful way, like I hope you have family members presently in your life that hype you up and see how well you shine always, and like they could never say a negative thing about you, because they just see you through the eyes of love and they see all your wonderfulness. That's how this ancestor is, and I'm sure that's how you will experience them as well. Like, when you feel their presence, like they will feel very warm. They will feel just very like fun and playful and childlike. If you did know this ancestor, like you guys, I would be willing to bet like you had a lot of fun. I bet you knew them best when you were a young child, and they probably loved playing with you. But also they do have a very powerful childlike quality to them, and they're able to process what happened to them. Like, they don't hold any resentments or grudges against those who may have shortened their life or taken away what means most to them. The thing that upsets them is just the fact that they weren't able to complete their mission. Like, there's pride in how seriously they take their incarnations and how seriously they take bringing blessings and abundance and beautiful things to the families they incarnate to the lineages they belong to. And so I think they're really, the only thing that bothers them is just that they weren't able to finish their job. Like, they take a lot of pride in their work and in what they come to this planet to do, and they have a strong value system. And so I bet you're the same way. And they wouldn't trust anyone else to complete this mission. And really the mission is yours and your own. I feel like when you incarnated this time around as your soul wanted to do this, wanted to take this on. It wasn't asked to. It wanted to follow a pathway. It wanted to follow a pathway that was eerily similar to this ancestor's pathway. And so they knew, oh yeah, I can trust Pile 4 to help us close this out and get the job done. Makes me think of Chapel Roan. Doesn't she have a song that's talking about getting the job done? Which I'm pretty sure that's about eating someone out or something, which, like, good for her. But I could definitely see this ancestor having like a raunchy sense of humor, or just being very honest about life in a way where they don't shy from it and they find the humor in it. And I feel like humor is actually, if you find that humor helps you cope with the horrors of reality, they certainly did too. Like, this ancestor definitely, like, they could have literally been like very close to passing and very ill and joking about it. Like this, your ancestor gives me the energy of, like, they could have had like a mortal wound and they're giving like Monty Python "'Tis but a scratch" energy and like making others laugh. They're very selfless, and they care so much about doing the right thing and doing right by others. And if a lot of what I said sounds like you and sounds like who you want to be, I feel like they're here to let you know that that's because it is you. That's because that's who you are. And I think one of the things that you may have struggled with is believing illusions that others have projected onto you, especially around like who you are and what your worth is. And they're here to remind you that none of that is real, none of that is true, and that you are light. And part of your power comes from rejecting and ignoring societal messaging that tells you who you are is inherently wrong, what has meaning to you or what you practice is bad or weird or stupid. It might be weird, but like, I think weird is good, and weird is a personal subjective judgment, and none of those judgments have to hold any meaning to you. You know, the sun doesn't stop shining because some people don't like the sun. The sun keeps shining anyway, and it's up to them to live with it. You know, put some shades on, close the curtains, maybe be less of a curmudgeon, but it's not the sun's responsibility, and it's not your responsibility either. You shine brightly, and this ancestor does too. And the purity of them reminds me of like the sun baby from Teletubbies, which is really funny because for some reason, this is a personal anecdote, but like when I was really little and I would watch the Teletubbies, I would like, the sun baby made me really angry for some reason. Like, I don't know why. I never liked getting up early, and I think for me, I was just like, bro, like, you are not Tiki Winky. Like, I want Poe or something on my screen. Like, who are you smiling? Like, how dare you smile? It's like 7 a.m. I'm not happy right now. Like, tone it down, sun baby. I don't know. I don't know, maybe it's just an Aries quality. I just wanted to fight the sun baby. I was like, the audacity to be that joyful this early in the morning. Couldn't be me. But I think that my anecdote kind of matches, like, there are people that will automatically be annoyed and pissed off by your infectious, bright, beautiful nature because they just can't get it, because they're crabby as hell, like I was when I was 5. But it has no meaning to you, and it has nothing to do with you. But let's see how you can connect with them. Oof, that was fast. Maybe the King of Wands. So you can connect with them, number one, by exploring, following, and pursuing whatever you feel passionate about spiritually, and whatever spiritual practices you're already doing, in addition to any spiritual practices you feel drawn to explore. Even if they come from different traditions or completely different, like, places in the world, different time periods, I have a feeling that this ancestor has incarnated multiple times in different spiritual traditions, and it's likely you have too. I wonder if you guys have had different roles together in different lives. Like maybe in some lives you haven't been genetic family, maybe you've been part of the same like spiritual group, or maybe you guys are part of the same soul group and you've incarnated in different places to make certain practices stronger, or broaden them, or spread them around the planet. So I feel like even if it might not make sense to you consciously, like, oh, these two practices are entirely different, and sure, maybe you're not infusing them, but you can still connect with them in whatever way you like, whatever piques your interest, whatever makes you feel passionate and just like sets your heart on fire. That's important, because this ancestor is definitely very smiley. You know, we've got Leo energy with the sun, and now with the King of Wands, like that's more fire energy, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. The King of Wands, I should also mention, you know, it's the most evolved fire court card of the deck. And one of the aspects of the fire suit and the fire court cards is that they're most connected to the pure essence of spirit of all 4 suits. So they are wanting you to know that you are already intimately connected with them. What they want from you is to use your personal power to set the tone and decide what forms of connection are going to work for you. How do you work best? Not what do they want from you, but what do you want from them? They want to show up on your terms, because for them, they can show up on your terms. It's about what's going to be easiest for you, you know? So if there are spiritual practices you want to explore, do that. It might take some more trust in yourself, and it might also take some willingness to just experiment and explore what you prefer. And I would pay attention to things like, in terms of your methods, like one thing you could do, for example, is like go into meditation, and, you know, however you do that, maybe ask questions, maybe leave it open to see whatever wants to come through, do whatever your intentions are. And then when you come out of it, maybe then you pull cards, or you do some sort of physical divination to maybe confirm or refine whatever it is you interpreted. So for example, maybe they were giving you a message and you're unsure if that was right, and maybe, you know, you feel called to a particular deck and there's the same sign, and then you're like, oh yeah, that's this. Or, you know, if you feel like you weren't quite getting something, then once you're done, you can go and, you know, maybe explore a bit deeply through automatic writing or like cards or something, and see like, what did I get about this right and what didn't I? Is there anything I need to refine here? The biggest thing though is that they want you to understand is that you're far more powerful than you realize, and the biggest blockage you have is not trusting what you receive and being unwilling to sit with the unknown when you are in the process of receiving information or just communing with the divine and with this particular ancestor. In your spiritual practice in general, I think you have this tendency to not believe in yourself, and also disempower yourself by just believing that there's more that you need to know, or you need to study more, you need to prepare more, you need to do things a specific way. And I think honestly, there's kind of encouragement on your ancestors' part to not take things as so seriously. I mean, obviously don't be reckless or anything like that, but you're not reckless. I think if anything, you're overly skeptical and overly distrusting, to the point where anything that's coming through it's hard for you to really consider it because I feel like you don't really trust yourself. And then that makes it hard to keep up the momentum of your own spiritual practice because you're like, but I don't know if that's real and who knows. And I think you need to be more comfortable with the certainty of your own experiences and realize that not only is there power in that, but there's reasons why they were brought to you. And you have the wisdom and just straight up intelligence to know when something is bogus or not relevant. And the thing is too, is you will know when something isn't meant for you or it's not being interpreted correctly because it'll feel wrong and you'll be like, ew. It's like the difference between eating like regular good jelly beans versus those like Harry Potter jelly beans that taste disgusting. You know what I mean? Like there's, energetically speaking, there will be a very clear sensory experience for that is tailored to you to let you know whether something is genuine or whether something is not being interpreted correctly or needs to be discarded. I feel like you are overly concerned about interference in a way that makes it hard for you to trust in all of the spiritual protection and support you actually have around you. So connecting with them is however you want to, but the most important thing is that you want to. You're not required to, and truth be told, they don't want to connect with you if you don't want to connect with them. Not from a well, fine, like if you don't want to connect with me, then screw you. I guess you're not my family anymore. Like it's not like that. It's just rather, okay, I will be here when you are ready. I do not want to connect with you if you don't want to, because I don't want you to feel like you're obligated to anything, because it's not an obligation. And I think for them, it's far more meaningful to interact with you from a place of you're here because you want to be. You're here because you're open to it. That's the greatest gift you could ever give them. And so another thing is if you feel like you have to have some grand offerings, or if you're like, well, I want to connect, but I feel like I have to have an offering first, or I need to do this. That is a wonderful gesture. And of course, if you want to do those things, please do them. But don't hold back when you feel called to practice or feel called to connect because you feel like you have to do some formality first. The greatest offering you can ever give is just the genuine interest and focus and openness to this ancestor and to what they have to share with you. Like that is beautiful. And your open heart is the most pure and special offering you could ever give. So let's see what they want you to know right now. What do you need to know about your path, about your spiritual practice? What wisdom do you have to share with pile 4's ancestor? What do you need them to know? Well, some of it, they're like, why don't you come and talk to me? Oh, would you look at that? The 8 of Cups upright. So what they want you to know is that the pathway that you're on is not only helping you, but it's helping them as well. I feel like they want you to know you're not only on the right path, but you're doing amazing. And also, there are certain wounds that I think you came into this world with, partially because they're part of just like your genetics, but also they're part of like your soul. And I think you took them on willingly, knowingly that if you did, you would be able to heal and release them in the process of your lifetime, not only for yourself, but for this ancestor, for your generational line, things like that. And I feel like what they want you to know is that is not something that they take lightly. It is a deep, powerful, beautiful thing that they're deeply grateful for. And what they want you to know is that when you find yourself getting frustrated with yourself, getting frustrated with your progress, feeling like you're failing or feeling like you haven't moved far enough, what you need to understand is the fact that you even chose to incarnate as yourself, to live this life, to be yourself, to take this on is an incredible feat in of itself, and something that is celebrated in the spiritual realms. Like you are celebrated in ways that you can't even consciously perceive. And if you saw it, it would move your heart in ways where you would never doubt yourself again. I can definitely see another thing that they want you to know is that whatever you feel is holding you back, they are helping you move through it. And I think that if there is anything that you feel like is really making you feel stuck, they are happy to help you move through it, to bring you the guidance, to bring you the wisdom, and to help create and guide you to portals of expansion and new life. that you would always reach on your own, but they might know a shortcut to get you there sooner and just help you experience a lighter version of life where you don't have to hold and carry maybe certain burdens that you haven't been able to let go of yet. They want you to know that there is no way you are not going to be triumphant, victorious, and successful in this lifetime. You are meant to be, and you already are. And not only that, they really don't want you to weep for them. They don't want you to feel like you need vengeance or justice or to take whatever hardships they experienced in their life personally. They want you to focus on you, to focus on your journey, and to focus on your path. And I think another thing they want you to know is that they understand how hard it is for you to put yourself first and how hard it is to honor and validate your journey. Actually, one thing that if there was any action that they took that made them unable to complete their mission, it had to do with them being so selfless to the point where they weren't able to get to their own personal missions because they were sacrificing for others and giving to others so selflessly. And part of what may have happened is they could have been helping someone else and something could have happened that made it so that they couldn't finish their journey and their mission in that lifetime. And here's the thing, I'm feeling them say like they would do it again in a heartbeat, because that's part of who they are and that's just part of what they care about. And you have that generous nature as well. But I feel like part of your soul agreement this lifetime around is to learn to prioritize self. And this makes sense with the sun and Leo energy, because everything revolves around the sun, right? The sun is the center of everything in the solar system. And they really want you, one way to help heal yourself and them and your generational line is to put yourself first, your healing first, your needs first, your spiritual interests, your spiritual pursuits, especially if spirituality is a part of your life in a service way or in a business or financial way. They really want you to make sure that you are creating and carving out aspects of spiritual practice that are purely for you and purely for your benefit and well-being. I also think that if it's beneficial, they will put people on your path that could be mentors, and if you need the resources, they will help you get them. But also it may be that they also want to honor, like, if you want to walk this path by yourself, if you don't, like, they're happy to mentor and help in any way, but also, like, if you don't want any other support beyond that, they're happy to let you work it out yourself. The biggest thing they want you to know is that you get to choose how your path unfolds and what sort of support and access to support you want and need. The biggest thing you can do is ask for help. It's not necessary, and it's actually somewhat foolish to knowingly carry a burden that could be lightened instantaneously by just asking for help and asking for support. So one thing they're really asking of you is to be honest with yourself when even if you don't feel like you need it, you're allowed to just want more support and more assistance, but you do need to ask for it. And because I think that even though they could know that you would really benefit from it, there's value in you learning to recognize consciously when you would benefit from more support or when you're carrying a heavy burden, and understand what the difference feels like of when you're carrying that burden alone versus when you ask for support and experience what sort of lightness, resources, support, and solutions come to you by just having faith in the divine and faith in your ancestors and the abundant universe's abilities to provide. Like there's a much greater level of, what's the right word? Well, there's just a lot of support to you available, and a lot of it won't make sense to you consciously. It will be brought to you. Like it's not something that you could anticipate or strategize on. It's just something that you will receive, and it will always be received most easily and the most quickly when you are just doing what feels right and aligned with you. So I feel like they also just want you to know that a lot of the burdens of the past, like you are being left in the past, and they know that you're so ready for this next step forward. And you might be experiencing a lot of like intense emotional experiences in the next few months. And they just want you to know that's okay and that's normal. You might be like, what's wrong with me? I feel like I'm going crazy. And it's not that you're going crazy. It's just you have pent up emotional energy, stress, tension, possibly even trauma that's just being purged and released for good. And so I think that what you're going to find is like within the next few months, you're going to feel lighter and lighter and lighter. And it might be a little bit concerning or disorienting to your conscious mind. Like you're like, what's going on? Why am I randomly crying all of a sudden? Or like, why do I feel so excited all of a sudden? Or like, why do I need to run 5 miles right now? Or why am I sleeping for 15 hours? It's just because your body is processing energy and releasing it. And you're stepping into a newer life and a greater like understanding and conscious embodiment of your own light and also your own power. And I think a lot of the emotional pain that's held you back, you're going to be releasing it, processing it, and gaining the wisdom from it in ways where you are able to recognize how those emotions, like you can use them to your own benefit, how you can use them to aid your own power, and also how those emotions, like especially just as pure emotional energy around you, how you may be vulnerable to it overpowering your own sense of sovereignty and how to counteract that. So like for an example of that would be like, you know, if you're feeling guilty that someone else is hurt, even though it wasn't your responsibility, you didn't do anything, but you're taking responsibility for it and feeling like, I can't feel good, I can't feel comfortable because I know that this person is struggling emotionally. That doesn't mean that you just be callous and not care, but maybe recognizing your power, like especially if it is like exhausting or disempowering or draining, or it makes you feel like you can't succeed, or you just feel like you're drowning under the weight of others' emotions. I think one thing you'll start to learn is how you can hold compassion and space for the emotional experiences of others without taking them on as your own, believing that you are responsible for them, and allowing them to have access to your own energy reserves in a way that takes you from your own journey and makes you feel like you have to be cleaning up others' messes and putting on other people's oxygen masks before your own. So, wow. Okay. So now let's ask, why did this reading come to you? So why did this reading come to pile 4, Spirit? The 8 of Wands. Because it's time to move forward, baby. I think you're going to be moving fast and taking a lot more action. Like, you're like an arrow being drawn back to be shot forward. One thing that you do need to know is that you're going to be moving forward quite quickly and a lot faster than you realize. And this card is making me think of Rainbow Road and Mario Kart. I definitely think that if you love video games, I definitely think that they love experiencing your joy and like witnessing your joy and playing them. But you are on a rainbow road. You are on a magical road of expansion, alchemy, growth, and they want you to know that they are there with you every step of the way. And you will move forward more quickly the sooner you stop resisting the calls that your own internal world and the universe is having for you. So if you're like, I know I should be meditating more, oh, I know I should go for a walk more, I know I should be doing this, those are the things the universe is like, yes, you should. But let me be a bit more clear about what I mean by shoulds. These are shoulds that you know you should do because they would make you feel good and because there's a part of you that's drawn to them. It's just your conscious mind that's like, but we've got this to do and we should be doing that and we've got to get this done. It's like the shoulds that you should be listening to are the ones that are not obligations from a logistical standpoint, but rather these are things I should do because I know they would make me feel good, because I know they would support my body, my mind, my spirit, my heart. Those are the things that are going to help you fly forward. And they're also going to make the obligations that you do have to adhere to, the things you really don't want to do, but you have to do because it's life, it's going to make approaching those a lot easier, and you're going to find you actually have more energy for them than you realized, and they go by a lot more quickly because you're less depleted. So let's just go ahead and finish off by asking for guidance moving forward and just what this ancestor wants you to know. So this sweet ancestor of pile 4s, what guidance do you have for pile 4 moving forward? What would you like them to know? Wow, we have the Page of Pentacles. Okay, so the biggest piece of guidance that they want you to know is that it's okay not to be an expert. They're not asking you to be an expert. This next stage is about learning, about growing and experiencing and learning about life, about the planet, about your relationship to your own body, your body's relationship to the spiritual realms, the earth's relationship to the spiritual realms, how they all are connected and how they're interconnected and how you can see both in each other. That's all part of the process. They're kind of wanting to explain to you that this pathway is not about being certain and then acting. It's about acting and learning through it. This is a constant process of learning. And another thing they want you to know is that it's okay to make mistakes. I would actually be willing to bet that the deeper you get into personal communion with this ancestor, you might even make similar mistakes that they did. And you will feel such lightness and even be able to laugh at it really soon because, number one, you'll be protected from any severe consequences happening unless you were like trying to do something harmful that went against your value system and isn't something that this ancestor would agree with and even your own spirit wouldn't agree with. That's the only time where you wouldn't be protected from the consequences of your actions. But you're not doing that. There's a genuine and pure intention in your engagement with your spiritual practice and the spiritual realms, and they want you to know you don't need to have everything figured out. You just need to be willing to take steps forward. You're a smart person. You learn quickly. You're very diligent and you easily gain wisdom from your mistakes. So the mistakes that you make, it will be clear when you make them and you won't make them again. And you will gain so much learning from them. And your ancestor wants you to make those mistakes because not only have they made them, but also it'll help you build confidence in yourself and realize you don't have to have it all figured out in order to be curious, in order to explore. That's when your greatest discoveries, not only about yourself, but about your spiritual practice and what works for you, will be uncovered. You're really just being encouraged to become a student of yourself, of your practices. Maybe dive deeper into the histories that you might feel called to and connected to. Even if you don't have confirmation that this ancestor was connected to them, whatever you feel called to explore, there is wisdom in it. Not only that, but they just want you to put less pressure on yourself because this isn't supposed to be arduous. It's supposed to be exciting and fun. It's supposed to be playful. Like, look, this is such a playful Page of Pentacles. And I feel like what they just really want you to know is that they don't want you to pursue this path if it doesn't fulfill your spirit and light your heart on fire. And when it doesn't, take a break. You're not obligated. This is not like the physical world where you have to show up every single day from 9 to 5 and be regimented with it. The best way to engage with yourself and your spiritual practice is to show up with an open heart and a desire to explore and learn. Your ancestors are creating a safe container, or have created a safe container for you to do that. And the only missing component is just trust in yourself and your own intelligence to know that you can navigate uncharted waters and uncertain territory, because anything that is a true danger, you will be protected from it or brought to awareness from it or redirected before anything like that can happen. Like I said, the only true danger you would ever be in is if you are trying to do something explicitly harmful that goes against your values, that goes against your spirit, and that you know is wrong, that you're going to get the consequences of your actions. But beyond that, there's really no danger or no worries. So you're really just being encouraged to embrace yourself and your path and your own unique exploration, because that is not only what is going to help you step into this new life that you've been reaching for and yearning for so much already, but it's also really going to help you shed the past in ways where it never comes back in the same way. And any remnants of the old coming up in your new life, they're not only going to be shed so easily, but also like the only time they will ever pop up is to just bring you a little bit of wisdom that you didn't have before, or give you some contrast to recognize how far you come and how much you've grown. And not only that, how much you've grown in such a short amount of time, and how powerful and expansive you truly are. So pile 4, that's where I'm going to leave this reading. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you so much for letting my ads play in the background. That's one of the simplest and easiest ways and most effective ways to support me and show appreciation for my channel. I'd like to thank your ancestor as well for coming through. They were quite easy to channel and I loved their energy. If you'd like to support me in other ways, you can like this video, comment down below, let me know how it resonates. You can subscribe if you haven't already. Be sure to click that little notification bell to be notified whenever I upload a new reading. Shout out to my notification squad. You can check out my merch, you can check out my social media, you can check out my Kindles. Be sure to use code ASO10 for 10% off. Other links are down below. You can check out other videos, especially ones with extendeds, but that's all I have for you guys. Thank you so much for watching and for letting me read for you. I really hope this reading brought you peace and awareness that you needed. I hope you all have a wonderful day or night whenever it is that you're watching this video. I love you, your ancestors love you, and your guides love you so much, and so does the universe. I hope you all have a wonderful day or night whenever it is that you're watching this video, and I hope you'll come back and see me again soon. Bye!